You aren't speaking nonsense, right? Feng Yutang slapped Dai Yunyang's head. He didn't need to think to know that it was due to the channel opening pill they took yesterday. Dai Yunyang's face turned somewhat ugly after being hit by Feng Yutang, but he couldn't do anything else. He knew that he had definitely been tricked by Bailey Honghang. Yesterday, that channel opening pill not only wasn't a real channel opening pill, but also wasn't a normal laxative either. Its true purpose was to weaken strength. Never in 1,000 years did he expect that it'd actually be like this. This time, he had lost. A mad killing intent engulfed Dai Yunyang's heart. He had cultivated so much and with great difficulty had finally managed to break through, but now all because of Bailey Hongzhuang's pill, all that effort had been for naught. Originally his strength amongst the third-year students could be considered to be one of the best, but with his current strength, his previous reputation would be completely obliterated. Not only this, but because his strength had dropped so much, he'd become the laughingstock of Azure Water School. From such a respected cultivator to this sort of status, he was simply unable to accept it. This was all because of Bailey Hongzhuang. Under his sleeves, his hands clenched into fists. His fingernails pierced into his flesh, dripping with blood. His dark eyes were filled with killing intent and bitterness. After this, Dai Yunyang was already absolutely irreconcilable with Bailey Hongzhuang. No matter what, he must kill Bailey Hongzhuang. Feng Yutang looked at Dai Yunyang, eyes filled with anger and contempt. Originally he had seen Dai Yunyang as somewhat valuable, but after his strength dropped, he was worth nothing. Sensing Feng Yutang's dangerous gaze, Dai Yunyang's heart jumped as his scalp turned numb. He already couldn't accept his strength dropping, but the hardest thing to face was Feng Yutang. Right now, Feng Yutang probably wanted to kill him. He was very clear that Feng Yutang only saw him as valuable, so now that he had lost his worth, he was nothing. Thinking up to here, Dai Yunyang immediately spoke before Feng Yutang could say anything. Sir Feng, I absolutely won't let Bailey Honghang off. Feng Yutang just stared at Dai Yunyang coldly, his originally amiable attitude vanished completely. What do I have to do with you not letting Bailey Honghang off? Hearing that, cold sweat couldn't help but come out of Dai Yunyang's forehead. He could sense the chilliness coming from Feng Yutang's body. Our strength was weakened because of Bailey Hongzhuang. Since Bailey Hongzhuang made us lose our strength, then she might also have a way to get our strength back. That was also what Dai Yunyang was anticipating the most. He believed that Bailey Hongzhuang definitely should have had a way. Or maybe, the reduction in strength was only some trick or suppression, and could be restored. Feng Yutang glanced at Dai Yunyang deeply. I'll give you one more chance. If you fail again, you should understand the consequences. Dai Yunyang's heart trembled, repeatedly nodding his head. Sir Feng, don't worry. I'll finish this successfully no matter what. Then what are you still doing here? Feng Yutang said icily. Dai Yunyang was startled and immediately got up to leave. Staying here stupidly would only provoke Feng Yutang's anger. But just as Dai Yunyang was about to walk through the door, Feng Yutang suddenly shouted at him. Halt! Dai Yunyang turned, confused. Sir Feng, what else? Return the money I paid you yesterday. Feng Yutang currently didn't have any good feelings towards Dai Yunyang, his words becoming more and more impolite. He had paid so much for the channel opening pill, but not only did his strength not increase at all, it had even dropped. This situation, and Dai Yunyang still wanted to take the payment. What a joke. Dai Yunyang smiled awkwardly, silently taking out the payment from yesterday and setting it down. This time he had truly having given away a bride, and losing his army on top of it one. He had originally planned to make a fortune while improving his meridians, and destroy Bailey Hongzhuang's reputation at the same time. Before it was a wonderful opportunity to hit 3 birds with 1 stone, but now it ended up like this. After Gutsangyan came to, he found that his strength had also dropped and almost fainted from fright. He was respected for more than half his life, but hadn't expected for Bailey Honghang, that girl, to give him so much grief. Although pill masters placed the majority of their efforts on concocting, strength was equally important. If their strength and spirit force was strong, then their pill refinement strength will also be strong. Now that his strength suddenly fell, his perception would also worsen and pill refining would become a lot more difficult compared to before. Really didn't expect that girl to be so fierce. Gu Sangyan was filled with anger. Bailey Honghang dared to do this to him, so he definitely won't let her have an easy time. Ling Jiesin and the others saw Dai Yunyang leave last evening but not come back, and couldn't help but be a little anxious. They had planned to start the plan today, but Dai Yunyang still hadn't come back, so naturally they couldn't move first. Yunyang still haven't come back. Ling Jiesin's face was filled with worry. She was itching to teach Bailey Honghang a lesson. Yesterday, Brother Yang had definitely taken the channel opening pill, so maybe he went into secluded cultivation and will return soon. Lu Jingkuan thought aloud, otherwise. We'll begin first. Ling Jiesin thought for a bit, let's wait a bit more. While the two were talking, Dai Yunyang's figure appeared in front of them. Yunyang, you returned. Ling Jiesin happily got up to welcome him. How was the effects of the channel opening pill? Hearing Ling Jiesin's words, Dai Yunyang really wanted to hit something. Just seeing Lu Jingkuan and Pang Yunxiang standing on the side was enough for him to know not to reveal the truth. The only reason Lu Jingkuan and Pang Yunxiang followed him was all because of this strength. If news about his weakening got passed around, the situation will definitely be different. So Dai Yunyang didn't reply, and directly changed the subject. EU now spread news about the channel opening pill being fake. After, we'll go find Bailey Hongzhuang and give her some trouble. He needed to get this done as soon as possible while getting the antidote from Bailey Honghang's hands. Otherwise, he'll get into endless trouble. Hearing that the plan would begin, the three were filled with excitement. They weren't that curious about the channel opening pill's effects. While Bailey Honghang was cultivating, a knock suddenly sounded on the door. It opened to show a furious Xia Jiqing. Honghang, your guess really was correct. Ling Jiesin and the others really are spreading rumors that your pill was useless. Completely lying. Xia Jiqing was just angered to death. She didn't hear any news for the whole morning, so she thought that it was just Hongzhuang overthinking. She finally started to relax for a bit, but who knew that the news would come in now? Plus those three people who are making the rumor worse than it already was, the rumor was spread throughout the whole school in a short period of time. Ever since the day that the auction was announced to the day that Ling Jiesin and a few others bought the channel opening pill, everyone wanted to know what effects did the pill have. Since the market stall's owner left right after he received the channeling opening pill, no one knew what effects the pill had. Because of this, everyone was very interested in the effects of this channel opening pill. When they heard malicious words, slandering the channel opening pill from Ling Jiesin and a few others, many of the students believed in their words. With a blink of an eye, this news has already been spread throughout the whole school. Seeing how worried and angry Xia Jiqing was, Bailey Hongzhuang couldn't help but finding it funny. She has already told Jiqing about the things that might happen today, but Jiqing was still angry to this point. If she didn't tell Jiqing what would happen today, she wonders what emotions Jiqing would be going through then. When Little Black and Little White heard this, their eyes suddenly lit up. They were not worried about this matter happening. They just wanted to feel the excitement of chaos. They have been waiting for a whole morning now, and this good show was finally about to happen. The Baisher who was laying on the bed was also suddenly filled with spirit. Then he curiously looked towards Xia Jiqing. He actually also loves to watch exciting things happen. Jiqing, don't be angry. Didn't we already predict this? Said Bailey Hongzhuang calmly with a soft smile. Clearly, this news didn't surprise her at all. Seeing how calm and tranquil Bailey Hongzhuang was, Xia Jiqing couldn't help but let out a sigh. If this situation occurred to her, she would definitely run out there and look for the person who slandered her. How would she be able to be calm and tranquil like Bailey Hongzhuang? I really do admire your calm temperament. If this situation occurred to me, I would definitely not be able to endure it. After hearing what was said, Bailey Hongzhuang let out a laugh. I never said that I would endure this and do nothing. She has always followed her moral. If others didn't offend her, then she would offend others. If others offend her, then she will repay the favor hundreds of times more. Ling Jiesin and the others have already angered her by looking for her troubles time after another. Yesterday, she let Dai Yunyang lost a bit of his strength. Today, she let others see who would be the one to get their reputation ruined. After seeing the glint of coldness in Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes, Xia Jiqing's expressions changed. She suddenly had a smile on her face. As it turns out, Hongzhuang has already made plans to teach the people who slandered her a lesson. Would you like for me to go contact Jiang Pangze? Asked Xia Jiqing. She believes that if there are two groups of people saying the same thing, then others will believe them. Bailey Hongzhuang softly waved her hands and said, "No need, let them make this matter more publicly known. Then after that happens, we will go together." Although she felt really anxious, after knowing that Bailey Hongzhuang had a plan, Xia Jiqing restrained the anxiousness in her heart. Dong Fangyu and Gong Shaoqing were discussing about problems that everyone would encounter during cultivation. In these times, if they interact more with people who are cultivating, they would be able to cultivate easier. Just at this moment, Lu Qinyue came in with her face full of shock and worry as she said, "Brother Gong, Dongfang, something happened." Hearing what Lu Qinyue said, Gong Shaoqing and Dong Fangyu couldn't help but wrinkle their brows as traces of concern appeared in their eyes. What happened? Just now, when I was returning from the Pill Masters Guild, I heard Ling Jiesin and her group publicly declaring Hongzhuang's pills had no effects and that she cheated them of their money. The second Lu Qinyue's words were spoken, Gong Shaoqing and Dong Fangyu's expressions both turned unsightly. They're simply just making groundless remarks and distorting facts. Dong Fangyu rose, his attractive face full of anger. They had all consumed Bailey Hongzhuang's pills already and the effects were marvelous. Not only did their channels widen, but they also increased in firmness and toughness. The more energy one's meridians can accommodate, the faster one's energy can circulate during battle, thus, the benefits of a channel opening pill was quite obvious. They were deceived but are still trying to show off their cleverness. Gong Shaoqing's voice was icy cold and his eyes were as dark as black holes. Those troublesome people. This matter cannot be discredited as they please. It is extremely disadvantageous to Bailey Hongzhuang's reputation, so let's go look. Anxiety could be seen on Dong Fangyu's face. The longer they drag this out, the more groundless rumors will spread, and the power of such rumors was self-evident. How many people had fallen to rumors? This kind of information would spread rapidly from mouth to mouth until in the blink of an eye, the whole academy would know. Bailey Hongzhuang decided it was about time and left her dorm room. As soon as she stepped out, she saw Dong Fangyu, Gong Shaoqing, and Lu Qinyue swiftly coming down from upstairs. Before she could speak, Dong Fangyu spoke in a voice filled with concern and tension. "Bailey Hongzhuang, have you heard about Ling Jiesin and her rumors?" Bailey Hongzhuang's beautiful face carried a polite smile. "I've already heard. Those despicable people, they're actually blackening your name like that. How loathsome." When mentioning Ling Jiesin and her group, Dong Fangyu's face was filled with disgust. Ling Jiesin and Bailey Hongzhuang didn't have any enmity with each other. He couldn't understand why Ling Jiesin was so aggressively going against her. "Don't worry, we will definitely stand on your side." Seeing Dong Fangyu's concern, the look in Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes changed a bit. At that moment, Bai Junyu appeared and was also struck speechless by their conversation. He hadn't expected Ling Jinxia to be so shameless. Bailey Hongzhuang really was not wrong. "Let's go and see it first," Gong Shaoqing's deep voice said. "Looks like we'll have to challenge them face on." One after another, the rest nodded. They need to go and feel out the situation themselves. Right as they were about to leave, the door next to Bailey Hongzhuang's room opened. Bei Chen's lips held a mesmerizing and mischievous smile, his posture lazy and leisurely. Looks like trouble has arrived. At his words, everyone's expressions changed. Something they were all reluctant to do, when coming from Bei Chen's mouth. Why did it sound like they were going to watch a good show? However, what he said was something only Bailey Hongzhuang understood. They were the only ones who had a complete grasp on the situation, so naturally, he knew she had a solution. Dongfang Yu's handsome brows wrinkled, the eyes he looked at Bei Chen with brimmed with queries and dissatisfaction. Bailey Hongzhuang is your wife, how can you be so indifferent to her problems? Don't you know how harmful this matter is to Bailey Hongzhuang's reputation? Dongfang Yu was no longer able to restrain himself. Bailey Hongzhuang was a unique kind of woman who was cherished greatly by those close to her. Although Bei Chen was an outstanding person, Bailey Hongzhuang was unaffected by it. He really was pitiful for Bailey Hongzhuang. When Dongfang Yu's voice dropped, everybody present was astonished. Who would have thought that mild-mannered Dongfang Yu would attack somebody? Not only that, but the person he was attacking was Bei Chen. Bei Chen's jet black pupils peered at Dongfang Yu from the corner of his eyes, and a hint of frostiness emanated from his bewitching face. Bei Chen's words held a hint of danger. Dongfang Yu coveting Bailey Hongzhuang had already left him quite displeased. And now that same Dongfang Yu had the gall to rebuke him. Taking Bailey Hongzhuang into consideration, Bei Chen did not want to destroy the friendship between them. However, this did not mean he would take Dongfang Yu's attack lying down. Dongfang Yu's anger increased at Bei Chen's words. He didn't expect Bei Chen would not only not reflect on his own negligence, but also speak to him like this. Bei Chen's words had also hit Dongfang Yu's weak point. Yeah. Who was he to be in a position to say such things? Xia Jiqing watched the scene before her. She didn't expect Dongfang Yu and Bei Chen to be so riled up in a conflict, not giving each other an inch. Her eyes were wide open. Was this a dispute between a lover and husband? Lu Qinyue's expression was complex, and her beautiful eyes revealed astonishment. She had felt, before, that Dongfang Yu was too passionate, and his treatment of other women was different. When they were in the Falling Cloud Mountains, Dongfang Yu had thought that Bailey Hongzhuang had fallen into a state of fury. It was the very first time that she had seen Dongfang Yu looking that angry. After that incident, she felt that Dongfang Yu had treated Bailey Hongzhuang differently. When they returned to the school, Lu Qinyue found that Dongfang Yu acted strangely around Bailey Hongzhuang. Having known Dongfang Yu for some time now, she had a pretty decent understanding of his character. Dongfang Yu was generally polite to everybody. It was exactly this kind of temperament that made it hard to get close to him. This was because there was nobody he treated specially. Ever since Bailey Hongzhuang had appeared in his life, she'd held a special place in Dongfang Yu's heart. Dongfang Yu had received a huge mental blow after finding out that Bailey Hongzhuang was married. Even if Dongfang Yu didn't say anything, a woman's intuition was rather sharp. Today, amidst all of Dongfang Yu's chaos, he was no longer able to hide his feelings for Bailey Hongzhuang. Little Black sighed, it could really be complex. The white lion raised its head slightly to look at the two above him, unable to comprehend the choice made by its master. What was Little Black trying to do by kicking up such a fuss? Seeing the situation escalate like this, Gong Shaoqing couldn't help but say, Dongfang Yu isn't trying to be malicious, Bei Chen. He's just worried about Bailey Hongzhuang, don't take it to heart. Are you saying that I shouldn't care about my wife? Bei Chen's shapely eyebrows furrowed into a frown, as his ink-black pupils emitted a dangerous, penetrating aura. His concern for Bailey Hongzhuang didn't need to be stated, for they had long since reached a state of mutual understanding. Even if she didn't say anything about this troublesome matter, he'd know what she was thinking. Now that these two fellows had the gall to attack him like. Nowadays, he was no longer the wastrel of a prince who needed to be patient. With his status, who would dare utter even half a sentence of blame? Most importantly, these two fellows were caring for Bailey Hongzhuang too much. In short, Bei Chen made use of the moment the atmosphere tensed up. Such provocative words made Bewitching rise up in anger. Bailey Hongzhuang didn't expect to discover the scene unfolding before her before she could even utter a single word. This was going way beyond her expectations. Bewitching's tone was frosty as his left hand wrapped around Bailey Hongzhuang's shoulders, giving off an overbearing and aloof impression. Xia Jiqing and Bai Junyu gave each other a quick glance, both shocked by how overbearing Bewitching was. Dong Fangyu's temper rose when he saw Bewitching acting like this. He understood the hostility Bewitching had as a man. He really wasn't in any position to criticize Bewitching, but his actions had truly made Dong Fangyu angry. Bailey Hongzhuang looked towards, eyes slightly open. She had already told Bewitching that his conduct wasn't appropriate, but after seeing his eyes, she couldn't utter out a single word. His deep eyes were filled with sincerity and overbearing to the point where you couldn't refuse him. In the depths of the bottom of his eyes held traces of softness and fear. It was like if he denied his words, he would be hurt. Bailey Hongzhuang couldn't help her heart from stirring after seeing those eyes of his. Besides, she was not the wife of Bewitching. Facing Dong Fangyu's criticism like this, it was only proper for him to retaliate. When she thought of this, she swallowed the words that she was about to say. She was quite clear about how much Bewitching cared about her. If he didn't care about her, he wouldn't have come back at this time to ensure her safety. If he didn't care about her, he wouldn't have been forced to leave Zhanglan Academy. From start to finish, Bewitching had only a single reason who coming to Zhanglan Academy, and that reason was her. After listening to Bailey Hongzhuang's explanations, everybody's expression shifted. They all thought that Bewitching would not understand the happenings of today. However, they never expected that Bewitching to have already predicted these events. In this case, wasn't it them who had wrongly accused Bewitching? Xia Jiqing's mouth was agape, her eyes full of understanding. As a matter of fact, she had also thought that Bewitching didn't give Bailey Hongzhuang enough love. As a husband, he needed to give Bailey Hongzhuang all the love he had. Unexpectedly, not only was Bewitching a caring husband, but he was also incredibly insightful. Her worries were unfounded. Dong Fangyu was stunned for a moment, his expression turned ugly. When he recalled that Bewitching said that he had an agreement with Bailey Hongzhuang, he was even more confident that Bewitching was declaring his own sovereignty. Gong Shanqing was also caught silent, his expression grim. Lu Qinyue's eyes flashed a glimmer of light. She didn't expect for a conflict to break out from this. No matter if it was Bewitching, Xia Jiqing, Bai Junyu, Dong Fangyu or Gong Shaoqing, everybody cared specially for Bailey Hongzhuang. Disregarding Bewitching and Dong Fangyu, even big brother Gong had feelings for Bailey Hongzhuang from the perspective of others. Gong Shaoqing didn't display enough concern. But with his cold temperament, just a mere sentence from him proved that the matter had a unique place in his heart. At this moment, Lu Qinyue couldn't help feeling pangs of jealousy. Before this, she was the goddess of the academy, regardless of who appeared. She also had some attainments in alchemy as well. She used to be the moon among the stars, high up in the clouds. Ever since Bailey Hongzhuang came around, she performed better than Lin Qinyue. In some cases, she even completely outshined her. Even if she originally didn't care about it as much, she and Bailey Hongzhuang were as different as black and white. She seemed to emit a brilliant radiance, attracting all the fireflies in the area. The instant Bailey Hongzhuang's words came out, a bright light flickered within Bewitching's eyes. The jet-black, storm-cold eyes briefly shone a trace of joy. It was akin to sunlight breaking through the clouds, dazzling one's eyes. Bewitching embraced Bailey Hongzhuang's side even tighter as he felt incomparably happy in his heart. Bailey Hongzhuang confirmed their relationship in front of everybody. The most important part was how Bailey Hongzhuang made clear to Dong Fangyu that she preferred Bewitching. After knowing this, how could Bewitching not be happy? Looking at Bewitching's expression shifting from dark to light, Bailey Hongzhuang felt helpless, but at the same time found it funny. She had always felt that this guy was a cunning fox. She didn't expect him to have such a childish side to him. Gong Shaoqing gave a slight nod and turned towards Dongfang Yu and Lu Qingyue's living quarters. Bailey Hongzhuang's foreman group also left to their quarters. They are going to handle this today. Early in the square, Ling Jiesin and Lu Lingquan and some others stood at the square, recounting the tragic and heartbreaking tale. Their words were all accusing Bailey Hongzhuang, without even giving her the slightest bit of leeway. They were making Bailey Hongzhuang out to be a villainous scum. When Bailey Hongzhuang and the others came to the square, they heard the words of Ling Jiesin. Xia Jiqing couldn't stop herself from letting a sneer. This Ling Jiesin was still as shameless as ever. The way Ling Jiesin was inverting black and white like this was unexpectedly not in the least out of character for him. Bailey Hongzhuang also let out a light chuckle. Ling Jiesin pretending like this was truly pitiful. I didn't expect that the channel opening pill was actually a fake. Could it be that from the start, all the promotion and hype from Bailey Hongzhuang about the channel opening pill was a joke? Luckily, it wasn't us who bought the channel opening pill yesterday, otherwise, we'd be in big trouble. Ling Jiesin's words alone can't be trusted. After all, we didn't see it personally. I don't think Bailey Hongzhuang would do such a thing. When Ling Jiesin saw that one of them didn't believe her, she couldn't help take an oath. The words I said are true. You guys say that we can't be trusted because of our conflict with Bailey Hongzhuang, but we believe that soon Wei Meidai will also come to seek justice. At that time, you guys would believe it, right? Everybody looked at each other when they heard this. If Wei Meidai would also attest to it, then what they said was likely true. Seeing everyone's changing expression, Ling Jiesin and Lu Jingquan glanced at each other, their eyes showing a proud smile. It seems that their goal has finally been achieved. Pang Yunxiang saw Ling Jiesin's eye signal and immediately left. Wei Meidai had already prepared to cooperate with Ling Jiesin and the others' plan, but Ling Jiesin said that it'd be more effective if she was to appear later. So she had been waiting not too far away, awaiting for Ling Jiesin and the others' signal to appear. When Pang Yunxiang appeared and informed her to go, a look of anger immediately appeared on Wei Meidai's face as she stormed into the school. After hearing Ling Jiesin and the others' accusation, she pretended to have the same feeling as she shouted, "Your words are right. The channel opening pill Bailey Hongzhuang sold me didn't have any effect." Ling Jiesin's face changed to one of elation. "Wei Meidai, it's good that you came. The channel opening pill was also useless for you, right?" Wei Meidai nodded, her face indignant. "Right. I paid so much to get the channel opening pill, but I never thought that it won't have the slightest effect. Bailey Hongzhuang is really going too far." Everybody was in an uproar. Wei Meidai was a pill master. If even Wei Meidai said so, the channel opening pill probably was fake. I didn't expect Bailey Hongzhuang to actually be a swindler. This trick was really too fierce. I say that this Bailey Hongzhuang isn't even a pill master, so there's no way that her pill is real. How can the school have such a troublemaker? It's no wonder that she chose to auction out the pill to us. If it was outside, she'd be done for. While everybody was discussing, Bailey Hongzhuang slowly appeared to face everyone. Seeing the topic of conversation come out, everyone's eyes lit up. It seemed like there would be a good show today. Ling Jiesin saw Bailey Hongzhuang, and a trace of pride appeared in her eyes. A fake expression of grievance appeared on her charming face. "Bailey Hongzhuang, you're really too much. Even though there's some conflicts between us, you didn't need to sell a fake channel opening pill to me, right?" Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curved into a mocking smile. She crossed her arms, staring at Ling Jiesin with a smile yet not a smile. "Act. You continue to act." Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang sneer at her, Ling Jiesin's face turned unsightly. Why is it that even now, Bailey Hongzhuang still seems so calm and indifferent, as if victory was in her grasp? Obviously right now, Bailey Hongzhuang should be at an overwhelming disadvantage. One mistake and her reputation would be completely destroyed. Yet, how could she still be so carefree and mock her? This was Dai Yunyang's first time seeing Bailey Hongzhuang. When he saw Bailey Honghang's stunning beauty, a trace of shock and want appeared in his eyes. Before this, he hadn't known that Bailey Hongzhuang was so beautiful and even thought that the number one beauty Lu Qingyue wasn't at all inferior. On the contrary, her confident gaze could be described as peerlessly beautiful, even faintly more than Lu Qingyue. Lu Jingquan fell into somewhat of a daze as he stared at Bailey Honghang's perfectly composed appearance. Once he came to, his face also turned very unsightly. Bailey Honghang, speak clearly. What acting? Ling Jiesin shouted loudly. Bailey Hongzhuang continued to stare at her with a strange smile, her eyes filled with contempt and disgust. What acting? Shouldn't you know? Bailey Honghang asked. Ling Jiesin's face changed somewhat. I don't know what you're saying. Anyways, the channel opening pill you gave had no effect. Return my bid and take your punishment. Ling Jiesin, you're framing people randomly. Why did you say Hongzhuang's pill is fake? Xia Jiqing suddenly got angry. After seeing Ling Jiesin's unbridled appearance, she could no longer restrain herself and directly confronted her. She wasn't afraid to see who was stronger. Xia Jiqing, I'm talking about Bailey Honghang, why are you interrupting for no reason? Ling Jiesin frowned. She knew Xia Jiqing had a sharp mouth, so it'd be hard to win if they got into a fight. I just can't bear to see you distorting the truth like this, what's wrong with that? Xia Jiqing's words didn't give Ling Jiesin the slightest bit of face. Aren't you just relying on your relationship with Dai Yunyang to act so arrogantly in the school? You look, what are you alone? Xia Jiqing. Ling Jiesin's face turned ashen, don't go too far. There was a big crowd of students gathered around them. Although many knew about hers and Dai Yunyang's relationship, Xia Jiqing's words were like a cover-up completely peeled away. Dong Fangyu and Gong Shaoqing glanced at each other. This Xia girl's mouth was really fierce. Bai Junyu's eyes shined brightly. It was the first time he had seen Xia Jiqing be so wild. I went too far. Xia Jiqing smiled coldly, did I go further than you? Hongzhuang sold the channel opening pill and as revenge, you go and destroy her reputation. Truly a poisonous woman. Ling Jiesin couldn't restrain her anger as her chest heaved. But she didn't know how to reply to Xia Jiqing and could only turn to look at Pang Yunxiang and Lu Jingquan beside her. Lu Jingquan and Pang Yunxiang were also very helpless. Wasn't having the two of them argue with Xia Jiqing just a straight road to losing? Bailey Honghang, we're asking you about your channel opening pill. If you have the ability, don't make Xia Jiqing interfere. After thinking for a long time, Ling Jiesin could only say that. If Xia Jiqing continued to talk, she'd be infuriated to death. Bailey Honghang's lips curved into a graceful smile, but the words that came from her lips were ruthless. What are you? I want to hear your answer. She believed that for some people, there was no need to give any face. Before she had still given her some face, but now, she had no plans to continue doing so. Everybody was commotion when they heard Bailey Honghang's words. Nobody expected her to be so domineering. Ling Jiesin was frightened by Bailey Hongzhuang's demeanor. Normally, even if Bailey Hongzhuang got into arguments, she had never seen her act like this. Why was everything completely overstepping her expectations? According to reason, shouldn't Bailey Honghang be very scared and nervous, cowering in fear? Lu Jingquan and Pang Yunxiang were also somewhat baffled. They also had their hands tied with Bailey Hongzhuang's strange attitude. Bailey Hongzhuang, the channel opening pill you sold us was fake. Could it be that you don't even plan to compensate us for that? Lu Jingquan said icily. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curved into a sneer as she raised a brow. Why do you say my channel opening pills are fake? Bailey Honghang raised her voice, making sure everyone watching could hear her words. As everyone knows, there's some hate between you and us. So how is it trustworthy if you say that my channel opening pills are fake? You don't have any evidence that my channel opening pill is fake. You guys call my pill a fake, well then I say that mine are real channel opening pills. Bailey Hongzhuang's words were clear, leaving Ling Jessen and the others in no room to retort. Then what about Wei Meidai? Ling Jessen shot back, she also said that your channel opening pills were useless. Ha! Bailey Honghang laughed, you guys are all simply jackals of the same tribe. Wei Meidai and I also have some resentments, so since you guys made a plan, she naturally wanted to join in and smear my reputation. Following Bailey Honghang's words, all the students' faces suddenly turned startled. They knew there was animosity between Bailey Hongzhuang and Ling Jessen, but never knew there was some between her and Wei Meidai as well. So that means that Ling Jessen and the others had probably planned. Ling Jessen and the others were all targeting Bailey Hongzhuang, designing a trap. How about it? Didn't I say that there's no way my goddess would do such a thing? This was definitely Ling Jessen and the others framing Bailey Hongzhuang. A man got up and laughed brightly. Before he couldn't retort under everyone's accusations, but now he could finally raise his eyebrows and blow of steam. Right, Bailey Hongzhuang simply has no need to do that. Even though cultivating resources were quite rare, special enrollment students shouldn't lack it to this extent, right? Ling Jessen and the others were always bad from the start, wanting the channel opening pill, but not wanting to pay for the bid. Therefore they made such a despicable plan. After Bailey Hongzhuang's appearance, the originally one-sided rumors immediately changed. There was originally many people believing in Bailey Honghang, so after seeing her confidence, their opinions also got stronger. Xia Jiqing listened to everyone talk, and a trace of admiration couldn't help but appear in her eyes. Although it hadn't been very long since Bailey Honghang came to Azure Water School, her popularity wasn't small at all. Just now, she had only used a few words to stabilize an extremely thorny problem, and everyone instead started to doubt Ling Jessen. Her abilities were really too great. Only Little Black, Little White, and Baishir felt themselves flush with shame. In fact, what Ling Jessen and the rest said were actually correct. The channel opening pill Master had sold really was fake, yet Master speaks of justice and righteousness. Saying such lies without a single change in face or skipping of the heart, Master really was amazing. Of course, none of them dared to actually speak it aloud. Otherwise, there's no way that they would get the yummy foods they wanted. Wei Meidai walked forward, her face cold. You gave us a fake channel opening pill, so how are we slandering you? Bailey Honghang, I am in no lack of money. I have simply no need to use such a method to frame you. Bailey Honghang looked at Wei Meidai coldly. Since she had met Wei Meidai, she had known that she wouldn't be easy to deal with. You bid it for the channel opening pill yourselves. Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at the people watching them and raised her voice. From the beginning when I conducted the auction, I had never wanted to sell you guys the channel opening pill. But you guys were the ones who specifically used fake names to bid for the pill. If you guys didn't collude before the auction and move together, ask the other students in the school if they would believe you then. At this moment, Dai Yunyang felt stupid. From the start, the pill Bailey Hongzhuang auctioned really was a fake. Unfortunately, after Bailey Hongzhuang's words, it made it seem as if they were framing her. If it wasn't for himself personally knowing the truth, he definitely would have believed Bailey Hongzhuang. Just as expected, many more students began to stand on Bailey Hongzhuang's side. Because Ling Jessen and the others' actions that day were a bit eye-catching, they recalled the scene. They must have been plotting for this day. Wei Meidai now was also feeling a bit worried. She hadn't expected Bailey Hongzhuang to be so difficult. The rumors they took so long to plant were easily destroyed by a few light words from Bailey Hongzhuang's lips. Bailey Hongzhuang, who wouldn't want the channel opening pill, which is so helpful for cultivators? Wei Meidai spoke unhappily, because there's some animosity between us. I was worried you wouldn't sell the channel opening pill to us and then decided to use a fake name. I think Ling Jessen and Lu Jingquan did so for the same reason, but what we said was a fact. Your pill was fake. Seeing how Wei Meidai managed to fit one thing in another, Ling Jiesin and the others breathed a sigh of relief. She had no idea how to answer that earlier. Since you said so much, let me ask you a few questions. Bailey Honghang's attitude was calm. Just this, and Wei Meidai wanted to fight with her. What a joke. She'll let Wei Meidai taste the flavor of defeat. They wanted to destroy her reputation, so she'll destroy theirs instead. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang's indifferent appearance, a bad premonition couldn't help but arise in Wei Meidai's heart. This Bailey Hongzhuang was never a person whose moves could be expected. You're a pill master, right? Bailey Honghang asked mildly. Right. You said my channel opening pill was fake, so naturally you must have already taken it. Since you're a pill master, you should be very sensitive to the pill's ingredients. So let me ask you, what are the ingredients of my channel opening pill? Bailey Hongzhuang crossed her arms and stared at Wei Meidai, her indifference making it seem as if she already held victory in the palm of her hand. After the originally worrying Dongfang Yu and others saw Bailey Hongzhuang's calm face, they felt their previous worry to be superfluous. Bailey Hongzhuang's acolytes were more than enough to solve this problem. Ling Jiesin and the rest simply weren't Bailey Hongzhuang's opponent. Ling Jiesin and the others looked expectantly at Wei Meidai. They believed that Wei Meidai would definitely be able to answer the question. But Wei Meidai actually didn't speak. In fact, she never even took the pill. Wei Meidai didn't dare to talk nonsense, afraid that she'd make a mistake and Bailey Honghang would catch it. With Wei Meidai's silence, some of the sharper people already realized the truth. If Wei Meidai was really correct, then how come she couldn't say a thing now? Ling Jiesin and the others were also struck dumb. What was this? Why wasn't Wei Meidai saying anything? After Jiang Pengze and the rest heard the news and rushed over, his eyes filled with shock as they watched the scene. They'd come as soon as they heard the news, worried Bailey Hongzhuang wouldn't have their support. Now it seems that even if they hadn't come to testify, everybody would still believe Bailey Hongzhuang. Her skills truly made others gasp in surprise. Dibei Chen's eyes also glowed brightly with admiration. His wife truly couldn't be underestimated. Everything seemed to be initiated by Ling Jiesin when in fact, Bailey Hongzhuang had controlled everything from the start. Whether it was her plan, her reactions, or her retorts, everything was controlled by Bailey Hongzhuang. Just going by this, Bailey Hongzhuang was extraordinary. Just as Wei Meidai was at a loss for what to say, a hoarse and gloomy voice filled with restrained anger suddenly interrupted their exchange. Heavenly star grass, rootless wood, willow channel flower, those were actually the channel opening pill's ingredients. Everybody turned to face the source of the voice. Gu Sangyun's face was dark as he made his way to the morning assembly plaza. Even though he had concealed it very well, his face was still a bit pale. Seeing Gu Sangyun's appearance, Wei Meidai's face filled with happiness. Although she didn't know why Master had suddenly coming now was the same as saving her. God, it's actually Master Sangyun, he actually came to Azure Water School personally. I don't know why he came here, but he seems a bit ill. Could it be that Master Sangyun came to help Wei Meidai get Bailey Hongzhuang? Facing such an unexpected event, everybody had different opinions. Just as everything seemed about finished, a new variable had suddenly shown up. Bailey Hongzhuang wasn't unfamiliar at all with the ingredients Gu Sangyun had mentioned. They were precisely the base ingredients for the laxative, although there were still a few other ingredients that Gu Sangyun hadn't said. That means that Gu Sangyun still hadn't researched it successfully. After all, the pill she had refined naturally couldn't be easily imitated. But after seeing Gu Sangyun's face, a trace of doubt also appeared in Bailey Honghang's beautiful eyes. She had already guessed that Gu Sangyun found that it wasn't the channel opening pill, but a laxative, which was why the old codger was so angry. But Gu Sangyun's pale appearance and slight limp as he moved clearly showed the effects of the laxative. Could it be that Gu Sangyun also took the laxative? It should be Just as Bailey Honghang was puzzled, Little Black's excited voice suddenly sounded. Master, you were correct, this Gutsangyan's strength actually dropped by 2 whole levels, hee. It seems like this guy's really angry. Little Black smiled rottenly. His strength originally wasn't high, so losing 2 grades at his age is enough to let him feel bad for a long time. Hearing that, Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes were filled with a ridiculing smile. Although she wasn't sure why this guy took the laxative, but since he ate it, she was naturally happy. Xia Jiqing and the rest stared at Bailey Hongzhuang doubtfully. They didn't know when she had suddenly gotten into conflict with Wei Meidai. Looking now, Gutsangyun seemed a bit ill-awe. Muddy waves filled Gutsangyan's eyes as he stared at Bailey Hongzhuang. If he could, he'd directly choke Bailey Hongzhuang to death. You should be familiar with those ingredients, no? Gutsangyun asked coldly. Bailey Hongzhuang's face was indifferent as she nodded slightly. As a pill master, I'm naturally familiar with such ingredients. Those are the primary ingredients of a laxative. Little Black and Little White glanced at each other. It seems like this guy really had some ability, able to make out Master's pill composition. Those drug ingredients were what I found to have made up your channel opening pill. You don't say that your channel opening pill is actually a laxative, right? In front of so many students, Gutsangyun had no choice but to keep the grace and elegance of a great master. However, his words still couldn't help but hold a hint of anger. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. Losing 2 whole levels of strength at Gutsangyun's age meant that it would be very difficult to achieve it again. No wonder he was so furious towards her. After Gutsangyun's words, everyone's faces changed. Gutsangyun was well known in Azure Water City as a second-rank pill master, and with his status, there was simply no need for him to slander Bailey Honghang. Yet, he had come. So then wouldn't that be proof that Bailey Hongzhuang's channel opening pill really was a fake? Xia Jiqing and the rest's faces suddenly turned unsightly. Before they had thought victory was already in their grasp and didn't expect Gutsangyun would come, completely turning the situation around. Bailey Honghang stared at Gutsangyun indifferently. I don't understand Master Gu's words about my channel opening pill having the same composition was a laxatives. But accusing a junior wrongly at your age, isn't it? Too despicable. Despicable. Everybody was startled when they heard that word slide out of Bailey Honghang's lips. Everyone stared at Bailey Hongzhuang in shock. Wasn't that a little too brazen? What was Master Gu's status? Bailey Honghang had actually just calmly called somebody of that status despicable. Pfft. Xia Jiqing couldn't help but laugh, giving Bailey Hongzhuang a big thumbs up. Powerful. Really too powerful. Bailey Honghang's words made Gutsangyun even more angry. Did you just call me despicable? Throughout the greater part of Gutsangyun's lifetime, he had never been called such. Bailey Honghang shrugged her shoulders, ignoring Gutsangyun's anger. My channel opening pill was sold to Wei Meidai yesterday, so how did it get into Master Gu's hands? Hearing this, Gutsangyun's face changed slightly. I just wanted to see if anything was wrong with the pill. So then, the result of your examination from my channel opening pill was that it was a laxative? Bailey Hongzhuang's attitude was languid, her voice mild as she asked. Correct. If you didn't take my channel opening pill, how would you know it's a laxative? The same pill ingredients combined with different ones can have completely different effects. Master Gu should know this, right? Bailey Hongzhuang, don't try to quibble uselessly. I've been immersed in pill refining techniques for years, and that pill is definitely a laxative. Even if it is a laxative, what does it have to do with you? Do you have any proof that the laxative is the same channel opening pill I sold Wei Meidai? Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled into a sneer. Since she had done such a thing, she's naturally already made preparations for it. Things like pills, after they've been auctioned, the other side simply can't depend on their own bodies to prove it. Gutsangyun, Wei Meidai and Ling Jessen's hearts were filled with anger as they watched Bailey Hongzhuang's "you're trapped" attitude. Unfortunately, Bailey Hongzhuang's words really did leave them with no alternative. With my status, why would I need to slander you? Gu Zhangyan's voice sunk. Just his prestige and status alone was enough to prove his words were fact. Hearing this, the scene fell into silence. Gu Zhangyan was right, his status alone was enough to prove a lot. The situation isn't good. Gong Xiaoqing frowned. Dong Fangyu nodded slightly. Neither of them thought that Gu Zhangyan would appear today. Although Bailey Hongzhuang was quite popular, she hadn't stayed at the school for long enough and was very much lacking compared to Gu Zhangyan's prestige. We can only help give proof, but we don't know who the students will believe. A light flitted past Bei Chen's eyes as he stared at Gu Zhangyan's group, the corners of his mouth quietly curving into a cold and dangerous arc. Only a rank 2 pill master yet daring to force his wife step by step like this, really courting death. Just as Bei Chen was preparing to act, a kindly voice suddenly sounded by everyone's ears. Today, the morning assembly plaza is really lively. Everyone turned to see Huan Chuyu slowly walking towards them. Vice Principal. Everyone's faces turned respectful. Huan Chuyu had already heard about what was going on at the morning assembly plaza. He hadn't thought there would actually be so much trouble after Bailey Hongzhuang's channel opening pill auction. Old Gu, if you don't have any proof, don't treat my students unjustly. Huan Chuyu's words made his attitude clear. As he stood in the school, his identity was Azure Water School's vice principal first, and Azure Water City's Pill Master Guild's president after. Hearing the meaning in Huan Chuyu's words, Gu Zhangyan's face turned a bit unsightly. Old Huan, there's no way I would accuse Bailey Honghang for no reason. Gu Zhangyan's face was firm. In my opinion, this Bailey Honghang's channel opening pill is definitely a fake, and will only bring disgrace to Azure Water School if she continues to stay here as a student. Gu Zhangyan's emotional sentence actually wanted to use this chance to kick Bailey Hongzhuang out of Azure Water School. If it succeeded, then Bailey Hongzhuang selling that fake channel opening pill would become a known fact, and at that time, she'd never be able to make a comeback. An icy chill flitted past Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes. Since Gu Zhangyan was so malicious, her heart also formed a trace of killing intent. Although she had collided against Gu Zhangyan in the Pill Masters Guild before, it was only an angry argument. She originally only planned to let Gu Zhangyan suffer just a bit, so he's no longer as arrogant in front of her. But now, unless he vanishes from the face of this earth, she would not be able to dismiss the grudge in her heart. Jiang Pengze and the others could really no longer stand it and immediately walked out, their faces unsatisfied. Vice Principal, we can testify Miss Bailey's channel opening pills are real. They're definitely not laxatives as Master Gu said. Huan Chuyu stared at Jiang Pengze and the others, surprised. What's the matter? As soon as yesterday when Wei Meidai and the others bought the channel opening pill, Miss Bailey anticipated something bad would happen. Since Ling Jessen and Miss Bailey have hate between them, she was worried that they would try to think of every possible way to frame her. So, Miss Bailey sold 3 more channel opening pills to us so we could testify for her today. When everyone heard Jiang Pengze's words, the crowd was once again in an uproar. The twists and turns filled everybody with excitement. They originally thought that Bailey Honghang was at a disadvantage, but didn't expect for her to suddenly have such a move. Vice Principal, many people here can prove that Bailey Hongzhuang is innocent. There's no way that Master Gu's baseless words are right. Bei Chen said icily, not hiding the coldness in his gaze at all when he looked at Gu Zhangyan. Right, we can all prove the effects of Honghang's channel opening pill. Dong Fangyu immediately added. Not only Dong Fangyu, but Xia Jiqing, Gong Xiaoqing, and Lu Qinyue all nodded as well. Before, Hongzhuang gave us all a channel opening pill. Our channels and meridians are all much broader than from before we took the pill, so the results can clearly be seen. There's no way it's a laxative like Master Gu said. Xia Jiqing swore truthfully. Although she didn't say it directly, everyone was clear about the meaning hidden in her words. There was no evidence at all behind Gu Sangyun's words. But nobody focused on that. Rather, they were more intent on the fact that Bailey Hongzhuang had given all of them a channel opening pill. Such a precious pill was actually directly given away. What kind of drive was this? I didn't expect Bailey Hongzhuang to be so generous, being her friend is really a blessing. Right? Look at Xia Jiqing's and the others' faces. It looks like they've long taken the channel opening pill. Gong Shaoqing and Dong Fangyu both said Bailey Hongzhuang was innocent, so the pill shouldn't be fake. Maybe not. Their relationship is very good, so it wouldn't be very strange for them to protect Bailey Honghang, right? Everybody was sharing their views and opinions. The portion that believed Gu Sangyun and the portion that believed Bailey Hongzhuang were roughly equal, with neither side able to convince the other. If Vice Principal doesn't believe, then you can examine their channels and meridians. Facts speak louder than words. Di Bei Chen's face was calm and indifferent, but his words were firm with no need for doubt. His wife wasn't one that could be slandered as they wished. Gong Shaoqing's eyes flickered. With a few simple words, Di Bei Chen had completely taken control of the situation. He troll wasn't simple. Hearing this, Huan Chuyu stared at Di Bei Chen. Bailey Honghang and the rest were swept away from his stare, unknown thoughts in his wise and far-sighted eyes. Old Gu, Bailey Honghang, what do you think about this? Bailey Honghang nodded. The results of this examination were certain, so there was no need for her to be worried. The only reason why she spent so much time dealing with Ling Jiesin and the others was so this could grow even bigger. Only this way could she let Ling Jiesin completely lose all her face. At the same time, she also wanted to use this to warn everyone else that trying to purposely find trouble with her was not a simple matter. If they did, they must prepare to pay the price. She inadvertently glanced at Di Bei Chen, her lips forming an enchanting smile. This couldn't have been done so easily without him adding fuel from the sidelines. Compared to herself saying so, the effects from those words coming from Di Bei Chen's mouth would be a lot greater. Seeing Bailey Honghang's straightforward agreement, a trace of hesitation appeared in Gu Sangyun's eyes. He couldn't help but doubt for a second that Bailey Honghang's pill really was real. But under everyone's eyes, if he refused, wouldn't that be the same as admitting he really was slandering Bailey Hongzhuang? While Gu Sangyun was thinking, Wei Meidai suddenly raised her chin arrogantly. We've already examined your pill, don't tell me that you think we're scared of you. Wei Meidai stared at Bailey Honghang fiercely. Since her master already said Bailey Hongzhuang's pill was fake, then it was definitely fake. If it wasn't for this, why would her master specifically come personally? She wanted to teach Bailey Hongzhuang a lesson. Right now, Bailey Hongzhuang was surviving on nothing but luck. Once they nod in agreement, the flustered one will be her. Wei Meidai's sudden words nearly made Gu Sangyun spit out a mouthful of blood. Don't tell him that Wei Meidai can't see the trap laid out in front of them. Seeing Wei Meidai's proud appearance with her head high and chest out, he wondered, why didn't his disciple have the least bit of brains? The smile in Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes widened. Seeing the complicated expression on Gu Sangyun's face, she couldn't help but laugh in her heart. A pig-headed teammate can do you more harm than the most formidable opponent. Right now, Gu Sangyun probably wanted to throttle Wei Meidai to death. So today, it seems that Gu Sangyun's reputation will be ruined by Wei Meidai. This wasn't something she expected, but she liked it. Behind Gu Sangyun, Ling Jiesin and the others shared a glance. They originally only wanted Wei Meidai to help, and didn't expect that everything would be settled by Wei Meidai. With Master Gu personally appearing, it looks like Bailey Hongzhuang loses this time. Lu Jingquan's eyes had a pleased smile. Although he couldn't kill Bailey Hongzhuang, destroying her reputation should be able to make Dai Jimon happy. Yeah, I didn't think Wei Meidai would be so awesome. Thank God they're helping us. Ling Jiesin was also very happy. Their goal was accomplished. Plus, from Bailey Hongzhuang's family, they could request double or triple the compensation. Only Dai Yunyang away from the stage was frowning. Bailey Honghang was way too calm, and didn't seem affected at all. That means things are much more complicated. Since you all agree, how about I examine it? Huan Chuyu asked slowly. Although Gu Sangyun's heart was very nervous, he could only gamble on the chance. All because Wei Meidai already blocked his escape route. But, just as Huan Chuyu was about to inspect their meridians, Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly spoke. If I was proven innocent and Master Gu and the rest actually did wrong me, then don't tell me they'll be let off easily. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes narrowed, a trace of ruthlessness streaking through them. She was never somebody bullied by others. Since Gu Sangyun and the rest were deliberately making trouble for her, how could she let them off so easily? Otherwise, won't more and more people just try to bother her? If it isn't so, what will you do? Wei Meidai shot back. If my channel opening pill is fake, I'll compensate your losses twofold and leave Azure Water School. Her beautiful, exquisite face shined decisively. Sunlight sprinkled on Bailey Hongzhuang's body, emotional and firm. In short, domineering without a match, no rejection, resolute and decisive. The sentence hung in the air, clearly echoing in everyone's ears. Everybody's eyes were filled with shock. Shocked stares fell on Bailey Hongzhuang's body. It was incredibly hard for anyone to believe that Bailey Hongzhuang said those words. Leave Azure Water School. How big of a punishment was this? So many cultivators were racking their brains for a way to squeeze into Azure Water School but couldn't, yet Bailey Honghang actually used it as part of a bet. How domineering was this, how self-confident. At the same time, this was testimony to Bailey Honghang's persistence. If it wasn't for Gu Sangyun and others to be accusing her wrongly, how could she say such a thing? In short, everybody was dumbstruck. Even Wei Meidai and the rest stared at her in astonishment. They indeed wanted to use this as a chance to get Bailey Hongzhuang expelled from Azure Water School, but it was simply too hard to do so. They never thought that Bailey Honghang would actually choose to leave Azure Water School herself. But, now that Bailey Hongzhuang was personally choosing to, they were not only unhappy but even filled with worry. Who would believe that Bailey Honghang didn't care about Azure Water School at all? Doing this meant was for one reason. She had absolute confidence with the test. Thinking up to there, Wei Meidai's face ashened. If after the test, it proved that Bailey Honghang's channel opening pill was real, then what would happen to them? Wei Meidai couldn't help but stare at Gu Sangyun beside her, only to see Gu Sangyun's pale face staring at her. If it wasn't for Wei Meidai's hot-headedness and directly responding to Bailey Hongzhuang like that, how could they be in their current situation? Ling Jiesin and her group glanced at each other, a bad premonition spreading in their hearts. Miss Ling, the situation doesn't seem to be going well at all. Pang Yunxiang lowered his voice. Ling Jiesin looked into the crowd and found that Dai Yunyang had at some time, unknowingly left. Before, Dai Yunyang had already said that as long as they succeeded, he would personally make Bailey Honghang compensate. Now that Dai Yunyang left, their chances of success were minimal. Now hold on, the result isn't certain, so maybe Bailey Hongzhuang is just trying to scare us so we wouldn't dare to test it. Ling Jiesin spoke slowly. Right now, it was their only hope. Lu Jingkuan nodded slightly. There was a chance, although it wasn't very big. On the other hand, all of you guys must apologize to me and repay the damage to my reputation. Her indifferent and cold gaze landed on Gu Sangyun and the rest's bodies. Bailey Hongzhuang's stance was firm and unyielding. Dongfang Yu and the others sighed in admiration as they stared at Bailey Hongzhuang. She was always filled with unexpected things, but sent their blood racing. Although Gu Sangyun was right in front of her, she wasn't the slightest but worried. Bei Chen's lips curved into a perfect, bewitching smile. His wife was truly bold. He liked it. A trace of astonishment also flitted by Huan Chuyo's eyes, but after thinking a bit, he also understood the reasoning behind Bailey Hongzhuang's actions. In fact, if Bailey Hongzhuang was really accused wrongly, then this was something she ought to be doing. Damage to your reputation? Gu Zhangyan asked, raising his voice. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. Your actions today definitely ruined my reputation, so you must compensate the damage to my name. Master's really too awesome. She already dug one pit for Gu Zhangyan, and now she's digging another. Little Black's eyes seemed to be filled with gold coins, not hiding his excitement at all. Master just made a huge profit over a single scheme. How many pig trotters is it worth? Ah. Little White's eyes glistened with the vision of countless pig trotters. Following Master and eating meat, really great. Serves Gu Zhangyan and the rest right to have such bad luck. Daring to offend Master, really bringing trouble to themselves, ha. Little Black and Little White glanced at each other, proud. Baisher's eyes also spun. It seems that now, there'll be no lack of demonic beast crystals for him to eat. The surges of happiness these days made him almost unable to believe his fortune. In my opinion, Bailey Hongzhuang's proposal sounds fair. What does old Gu think? Huan Chuyu asked. Since it was a bit, Bailey Hongzhuang's conditions had to be fair for both sides. Gu Zhangyan's face flashed with a trace of hesitation. Money wasn't anything important, but he couldn't accept apologizing to Bailey Hongzhuang. Regret stared to spread in Gu Zhangyan's heart. If he could, he never would have come today. Originally he had wanted to ruin Bailey Hongzhuang's reputation, but didn't expect that it'd be himself trapped with no room to advance or retreat. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang's completely confident appearance, he had no choice but to admit that this time, he lost. Even though he would like to refuse 10,000 times, Gu Zhangyan could only nod, fine. Seeing Gu Zhangyan's approval, Huan Chuyu didn't delay and immediately began to inspect Gong Shaoqing's internal channels. With this inspection, Huan Chuyu already knew their situation like the back of his hand. Footnote, Ross said Gu Zhangyan, but I'm assuming it's a typo because it doesn't make any sense, /footnote, he knew Gong Shaoqing well, and also knew the size of their meridians. And now, he actually found that their meridians and channels had grown much bigger than before. Not only that, but they had even become more tough and durable. For cultivators, such a change was of great assistance. Just this was enough to prove that Bailey Hongzhuang's channel opening pills definitely had an effect. After examining Gong Shaoqing, Huan Chuyu then looked at Jiang Pengze and the others. The facts proved Jiang Pengze's words, just as they've said. Some of the energy from yesterday's channel opening pill still wasn't yet fully absorbed, and had no semblance at all to the laxatives Gu Zhangyan said they were. Huan Chuyu slowly lifted his head and looked at Gu Zhangyan, his gaze complicated. Old Gu, according to my examination, their channels really were broadened. After Huan Chuyu's words, everyone was in an uproar. Nobody suspected Huan Q's words. Who would have thought that in the end, it was Master Gu wronging Bailey Hongzhuang? Gu Zhangyan's figure trembled, his face instantly ashening. He seemed to have suffered a huge blow, his whole body unstable. Wei Meidai's face also turned extremely unsightly. She originally thought this plan was flawless and that they could definitely ruin Bailey Hongzhuang. But she didn't expect that in the end, the ones with the destroyed reputation would be them. I really didn't expect for Wei Meidai and the rest to be so despicable, buying real channel opening pills from Bailey Hongzhuang before slandering her. Right, depending on that one excuse to make Bailey Hongzhuang refund their money, really too shameless. Even if Master Gu wants to protect his disciple, this is really going too far. 2 likes. Now, Hongzhuang's finally proven innocent, right? Xia Jiqing raised an eyebrow as she looked proudly at Gu Zhangyan's group. The vice principal finally proved Hongzhuang was innocent. Gu Zhangyan wanted to puke blood. Even if he accused Bailey Hongzhuang wrongly, that channel opening pill really was fake. The channel opening pills Bailey Honghang gave them are real, but the ones she sold to us were definitely fake. Gu Sangyun had just understood the key point of everything. Wei Meidai couldn't have switched out the channel opening pill. So, that was the only possibility left. Hearing Gu Sangyun's words, a trace of disdain appeared in everyone's eyes. As matters stand, the truth has already been exposed, yet Gu Sangyun still wanted to accuse Bailey Honghang. Really too shameless. Master Gu, it's already like this, but you still want to slander me? Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes were filled with disdain and ridicule. The truth is already set now, shouldn't you guys understand? Gu Sangyun stared rigidly at Bailey Hongzhuang. He had lived so many years, but this was the first time he was tricked by a junior. Not only was his reputation destroyed, but he even had to give her compensation. In the future, where would he put his face? Gu Sangyun's heart was filled with endless anger. He simply couldn't believe his circumstances. Bailey Honghang, are you worthy of my apology? Gu Sangyun's voice was filled with rage and menace as he stared at Bailey Honghang with mad killing intent. This wretched, loathsome girl, after he's done with today, he absolutely won't let Bailey Hongzhuang slip off. Bailey Hongzhuang sneered, her eyes filled with ice. How am I not worthy of Master Gu's apology? Even if you kneeled down and kowtowed to me as apology, I would be worthy. Hearing this, Gu Sangyun's face instantly ashened, turning as cold as ice. Bailey Hongzhuang, don't go too far. Gu Sangyun's face turned red, the hatred in his eyes shocking. Who's going too far? Bailey Honghang's voice was cold and strict, making Wei Meidai buy my channel opening pill. You should be the most clear about your plan. As a senior, targeting me, pushing me aside, slandering me, don't tell me you still want me to respect you? Take a look at your own morality and conduct. Do you deserve my respect? Gu Sangyun was extremely angry. His right hand pointed at Bailey Hongzhuang, but not a single word could come out of his mouth. His face seemed as if he could faint from anger at any moment. If you can't afford the bet, then don't bet. Or else, you'll just be provoking everyone's ridicule. Bailey Honghang stared at Gu Sangyun coldly. She had seen many shameless people, but ones like Gu Sangyun who want to truly made her feel sick. Since they've already shed all pretenses of cordiality, she naturally wasn't the least bit courteous with her words. Everyone stared at the scene, stunned. Bailey Hongzhuang was really too domineering. That was Master Gu, yet Bailey Hongzhuang was scolding him like a grandson. But thinking carefully, everyone thought that Bailey Hongzhuang's scolding wasn't unreasonable. In fact, Gu Sangyun's actions made everyone feel sick. Wei Meidai was also currently terrified. Where did Bailey Honghang's courage come from? An unexplainable sense of regret spread in her heart. If she could, she really wanted to find a hole to hide in. From here on, she'll really have no face in Azure Water School to meet anybody. Clap, clap. Just as everyone fell silent, Dibei Chen suddenly started to clap. Well said. Dibei Chen's deep, black eyes twinkled with enjoyment, the corners of his lips curled in a devilishly charming smile. Hearing his wife's marvelous words, naturally he wanted to clap. Everyone stared at Dibei Chen, astonished. This Dibei Chen really deserved to be Bailey Hongzhuang's wife, their guts were really out of the ordinary. After Dibei Chen started clapping, Xia Jiqing and Bai Junyu one after another also started to clap. It was really too satisfying. Dong Fangyu and Gong Shaoqing also stood up to clap. Lu Qingyue hesitantly glanced at Huan Chuyu and Gu Sangyun. She often stayed in the Pill Master's Guide and was quite familiar with Gu Sangyun, so if she applauded now, it'd really be too inappropriate. Below the stage, nobody knew who clapped first, but the crowd was filled with thunderous applause. Bailey Hongzhuang was truly very blunt. Normally, Pill Masters always held an aloof and remote attitude, and nobody dared to be the least bit disrespectful. Now, Bailey Hongzhuang dared to provoke Gu Sangyun directly. Just by listening, they could feel their blood racing. Gu Sangyun's face had already turned into a dark red color. He wished with all his heart that it was all a dream. But, reality was cruel. He stared at Huan Chuyu helplessly, only hoping for his long-known friend to say a few words to help him. Otherwise, after today, he'd become a laughingstock in Azure Water City. Huan Chuyu frowned slightly. He also didn't think that the situation today would turn out to be like this. Towards this old friend Gu Sangyun, he was truly somewhat helpless. Although in the past, Gu Sangyun's tolerance was very short, he'd never go as far as to interfere with the younger generation. He didn't think that this time Gu Sangyun would become involved in such a thing. Especially those last words, making him disdained by everyone. Bailey Hongzhuang, old Gu is your elder, so I believe he understands. How about he just compensates? Huan Chuyu thought for a long time and only spoke just now. He also couldn't help but feel very embarrassed. Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at Huan Chuyu. She could understand Huan Chuyu's reasons for saying such. On one hand, it was an Azure Water School student, but on the other, it was his long-known friend. He could only come up with such a compromise. In Bailey Honghang's heart, Huan Chuyu taking her into consideration already made her feel somewhat grateful. Since Vice Principal said so, I'll listen. Bailey Hongzhuang said slowly, but, I want double the compensation. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang's unwilling face, Huan Chuyu laughed helplessly and turned to Gu Sangyun. He could only manage this much. Tomorrow I will send people to deliver it to you. Gu Sangyun looked at Bailey Hongzhuang resentfully and quickly walked out of Early Assembly Plaza. He didn't want to stay here and lose even more face. Seeing Gu Sangyun leave, Wei Meidai immediately began to follow. Hold on. Bailey Hongzhuang's cold voice suddenly rang. Miss Wei seems to have forgotten something, right? Wei Meidai's body turned stiff as she turned her head awkwardly. What? You still owe me an apology. Bailey Hongzhuang said icily. Leaving just like that was really getting off too easy. Wei Meidai's face sunk. She originally thought that she could just slip through, but didn't expect that she couldn't even hide. Wei Meidai couldn't help but look at the quickly leaving Gu Sangyun, but he didn't seem to understand her meaning, disappearing away from everyone's eyes at a speed like lightning. Gu Sangyun only wanted to be away from Wei Meidai right now. If it wasn't for her rashly agreeing to the inspection, how would end up at such a situation? This was the first time he regretted taking such a stupid despical. Seeing this, Wei Meidai could only stare at Bailey Hongzhuang helplessly, her voice overcast like baby's, I'm sorry. Bailey Hongzhuang frowned, a doubtful look on her face as she brought her head closer to Wei Meidai's. What did you say? It was too quiet for me to hear. Wei Meidai's face turned very red as she glared at Bailey Hongzhuang indignantly. She was going too far. Wei Meidai, don't you normally talk very loudly? How come I can't hear anything now? Wei Meidai stared angrily at Xia Jiqing, her eyes filled with bone-deep hate. She naturally hated Bailey Hongzhuang, and this Xia Jiqing was simply too detestable. I'm sorry. Wei Meidai shouted the two words. She didn't want to stay for a single bit longer, and immediately started to leave. But just as Wei Meidai took a step, Bailey Hongzhuang's voice rang out again. Wei Meidai, don't forget to come with your master tomorrow to compensate me for my reputation. Wei Meidai's figure paused, her hand clenching into fists. Her head didn't turn back as she left with quick steps. After Wei Meidai left, only Ling Jiesin, Lu Jingkuan and Pang Yunxiang were left on the platform. Seeing the three who always searched for an excuse to trouble her, Bailey Hongzhuang raised her chin, a cold light flashing through her eyes as she openly laughed mockingly. Right now, Ling Jess and her group felt as if they were sitting on pins and needles. If it wasn't for the vice principal showing up, they would have been able to leave directly. But now they could no longer OD anything and could only brace themselves. I'm sorry. The three apologized together, their eyes twinkling with anger. This time they had lost, but next time it'll be Bailey Hongzhuang unable to escape easily. Right as they schemed their future plans, Bailey Hongzhuang spoke again. Next time you want to find trouble with me, make a better plan. This strategy is too stupid. Hearing this, Ling Jiesen's group was simply mad with anger at Bailey Hongzhuang. This time they had definitely failed, but Bailey Hongzhuang's ruthless mocking had truly made them lose too much face. But, facing Bailey Hongzhuang's words, they couldn't say a thing. But right now, Dai Yunyang was angry enough to puke blood. He had never accused Bailey Hongzhuang wrongly though. That channel opening pill really didn't have the least bit of effect though. Only now, in front of Bailey Hongzhuang's rightness appearance, he was truly about to die from anger. After Ling Jiesen and the others left under everyone's mocking words, early Assembly Plaza regained its calm. Everyone's faces were brimming with happiness. Today, the show had truly exceeded their expectations. Bailey Hongzhuang turned to face Huan Chuyu and bowed with etiquette. Many thanks for today, Vice Principal. Huan Chuyu waved his hand. Although his heart was still a bit helpless, he still spoke smilingly. What I said was the truth. Hi. Chapter 397 Dark Murderous Night. A wonderful drama had ended in such a way, with flaring curtains, that even though it was over, there were still many students relishing in its aftermath. Wei Mei Dai, Ling Jia Xian, and the others' fame fell to a rock bottom. After all, their true colors had been exposed in front of all the people. Bailey Hongzhuang thanked Jiang Pengzai and the other two people, afterward returning to the special enrollment dormitory with Di Bei Chen and the others. Dong Fang Yu and others on this matter and its result were filled with endless emotion. They had thought this would cause a huge loss to Bailey Hongzhuang's reputation and have not thought that a person like Bailey Hongzhuang will be enough to turn the tide. This completely rewritten ending had awed them and at the same time had also been a good lesson for Ling Jia Xian and others. They had to admit that such twists and turns in the plot were really rare. Troubled everyone today, thank you. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curved up in a gentle smile, hand cupped as she apologized to Dong Fang Yu and the others. This incident had been enough to prove that Gong Shaoqing and others in the special enrollment batch have truly become friends with her and she will deeply remember this affection and repay it from the bottom of her heart. Dong Fang Yu looked at Di Bei Chen. After the previous things, the relationship between him and Di Bei Chen was not good. If he continued to stay here, he would only be embarrassed. Gong Shaoqing naturally understood the current situation and went upstairs together with Dong Fang Yu and Lin Qinyu. Xia Zhiqing smiled widely. Haha, today's things were too funny. That Ling Jia Xian was staring till her eyeballs were almost falling. Most of the women practitioners were less alluring than the average women, but allure such as Xia Zhiqing was still extremely rare. Bai Junyu appreciatively glanced at Xia Zhiqing, his eyes bright as his sight condensed on her, a trace of strange emotions spreading in her heart. Zhiqing, thank you for today. Bailey Hongzhuang held Xia Zhiqing's hand, and Xia Zhiqing, without any hesitation, stood by her side. True friends, such as Xia Zhiqing, were still very few. Therefore, she cherished this friendship very much. Xia Zhiqing winked naughtily, her bright black eyes twinkling like stars. You are welcome. People like them should be cursed. Night slowly crept in, the moon shining, soft moonlight touching everything in the cool and cold night. Bailey Hongzhuang was standing by the window, the moonlight falling on her body, the picture mellow and beautiful. Dark, ink-like eyes were like a star in the night, shiny, with a trace of sharpness flashing quietly, cold and unfathomable. Today, when she looked at the eyes of Gutsang Yun that were filled with bone marrow deep, killing intention, she feared more trouble had just been added. To Gutsang Yun's position and reputation, today's blow would certainly make him do a crazy move. And she, for Gutsang Yun, had a feeling of extreme disgust. Today, this dark and stormy night of the murder would be even darker and heavier later when she went to eradicate this trouble. Master, that Gutsang Yun will not send someone to deal with you today, right? Little Black sat on the shoulder of the Bailey Hongzhuang, two little feet shaking, as he slowly asked aloud. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curved in a ridiculing smile, black pupil flashing with confidence. The old guy is just scared of being upright, trying to figure out how to save his reputation and wouldn't find someone to fight me, at least, until tomorrow. In fact, things were just as she expected. Gu Songyun was pacing angrily in his house at the moment. Wei Mei Dai stood in front of him, head hanging low, not saying a word. Chapter 398 Younger Brother, Good News. Just as Bailey Hongzhuang had considered the time for the permanent departure of Gu Songyun, Little White's curious voice suddenly rang out. Well, Di Bei Chen, how come you are going out now? Little White's eyes were flashing with a curiosity. These days, Di Bei Chen had never gone out. Ah. Bailey Hongzhuang's brow lifted, dark, bright eyes flashing with a thoughtfulness like her doubts had just been affirmed. Her heart had already faintly guessed this, but as she had not witnessed, she could not be sure. Master, when do we go? Little Black asked. For Gu Songyun, that old guy, he only felt more and more annoyance, and just wanted to go faster to solve the old fart. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips arched in a joking smile. Since you are already this impatient, we will be starting now. Well. Little Black laughed excitedly. Baishir had also heard this and bounded towards Bailey Hongzhuang, his two furry hands holding a purple demon crystal, eyes showing his happiness. Bailey Hongzhuang touched Baishir's head, opened the door and walked the outside of the college's premise. After today's things, Dai Yunyang could be considered the most depressed person, but his heart also felt somewhat fortunate. If it was not for him letting Ling Jia Xian and the other two question Bailey Hongzhuang first, but he himself, he would have lost face today at the morning prayer square. Now his face was temporarily saved, but that laxative had really caused him such a big loss, making him miserable. He did not know what to do, naturally could not go to Feng Yutang. If he were to tell Feng Yutang that he failed, then he was afraid that he could not even go back alive. I did not expect this Bailey Hongzhuang to be even so powerful. Our plan was perfect, but she has destroyed everything. Ling Jia Xian looked indignant. Today's things had exhausted her and completely lost her face. Who could have thought that Bailey Hongzhuang would even give us a fake Dan and that Gong Shaoqing and the others had taken the real one? If not, no one can be sure if we wronged Bailey Hongzhuang. Lu Jingcan was also depressed, did not expect to fall so short. Dai Yunyang was even more depressed on hearing the words of Lu Jingcan. It is obvious he was wronged. He did not do anything unjust to Bailey Hongzhuang, okay? However, he now has no other way to tell Lu Jingcan and others because he couldn't accept the fact that people no longer pay any attention to him. So, this tone he can only swallow bitterly. Just as Dai Yunyang pondered what they should do next, Pang Yunxiang, who had been sent to inquire about the news, quickly stepped in the room. Younger brother, there is good news. Pang Yunxiang's slightly cheerful and proud face was like an invitation for good news to Dai Yunyang. Dai Yunyang frowned. At such a time, how can there be any good news? Ew, what good news? Ling Jia Xian asked curiously. Pang Yunxiang could no longer hold it in and eyes shining with excitement, he said, I have checked, and now in the special enrollment dormitory Bailey Hongzhuang is the only one. Hearing this remark, Dai Yunyang and the other two's eyes are fixed on the body of Pang Yunxiang. Only Bailey Hongzhuang is there. How is that possible? Lu Jingcan had some doubts, not to mention Dong Fangyu, Gong Shaoqing and others who have been staying in special enrollment dormitory. For Di Bei Chen it was absolutely impossible to be separate from Bailey Hongzhuang. Chapter 399 You think you will not regret it. Seeing that none of them believed him, Pang Yunxiang's voice became even louder, his face becoming a bit more serious. What I said is true. I had been hiding near the special admissions dormitory to check the situation when I saw the Dong Fangyu, Gong Shaoqing, Lu Qinyu, and Bai Junyu going out together. Not long after that, Di Bei Chen also left. When I saw that even Di Bei Chen had gone out, I immediately came back to inform you about the news. Listening to this, Dai Yunyang and others glanced at each other, their faces spontaneously emerging with a touch of joy. Normally, due to the presence of Di Bei Chen and others, if they want to deal with Bailey Hongzhuang, finding a chance was impossible. Now, in the special enrollment dormitory only Bailey Hongzhuang, that one person was remaining, this good opportunity was simply a pie falling from the heavens, right? We are going to the special enrollment dormitory. Dai Yunyang, pounding his fist on the table, stood up, his originally gloomy face now glimmering with emerging hope. As long as he could recover the strength that he had lost due to the immortality that they had got from the hands of Bailey Hongzhuang, then all problems could be solved. When Bailey Hongzhuang walked out of the special enrollment dormitory, she saw Dai Yunyang's group coming towards her, their faces looking dire and angry. A shallow smile graced her lips as Bailey Hongzhuang folded her arms in front of her chest with attitude, sarcastically looking at Dai Yunyang and the three behind him. Humph, do you think that you haven't lost enough face today? Have you come here hoping for your face to be lost even more? Bailey Hongzhuang, you do not too proud. Ling Jia Xian cursed angrily, Brother Dai has come, now I will see how proud you can be. Bailey Hongzhuang's gaze condensed on Dai Yunyang's body. With a closer look, she had just found that Dai Yunyang and Dai Ji-man looked very similar. It turns out that you are Dai Yunyang. Bailey Hongzhuang's expression was unfathomable, her face calm and indifferent, such that no one could see the slightest emotion. Ling Jia Xian and others were constantly coming to her to find troubles, and because of what happened to Dai Ji-man and today's incident, she finally saw Dai Yunyang himself. Bailey Hongzhuang, you promptly give up the antidote, or else do not blame me for making you feel unwelcome. Dai Yunyang looked pale, trying to get this over with as soon as possible. He did not know when Di Bei Chen and the others would come back, but once the time was too late, then the people who were in an adverse situation may be them. Cold, black eyes were filled with puzzlement, as Bailey Hongzhuang's face wrinkled slightly. Antidote? Not only Bailey Hongzhuang, even Ling Jia Xian and others were confused. Dai Yunyang was poisoned? See Bailey Hongzhuang's ignorant and puzzled expression, as if she did not know anything, made Dai Yunyang's anger even thicker and explosive, that is, the antidote of that laxative. A touch of understanding now floated on Bailey Hongzhuang's facial features, cherry-like soft lips curving up in an enchanting arc, her voice revealing her ridicule. Oh that, after you ate my original immortality, how did you feel? Listening to Bailey Hongzhuang's mercilessly sarcastic remark, Dai Yunyang's face turned black to the extreme. You will hand over the antidote right now, or you will regret it. The other three people looked at each other, they completely did not understand what Dai Yunyang and Bailey Hongzhuang were talking about. Yunyang, what antidote are you talking about? Ling Jia Xian could not help but ask aloud. However, Dai Yunyang did not explain anything to her. In fact, such a shameful thing, he simply did not want to explain. I'd like to know, how dare you think you can make me lose 2 levels of strength and not live to regret it? Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes narrowed, whether it was Dai Ji-man or Dai Yunyang, their arrogance was the same, disgusting. Chapter 400 What is that thing? Hearing Dai Yunyang's remark, the three behind him sucked in a breath of cold air. They looked intently at Dai Yunyang, almost asking if they had heard wrong. However, seeing Dai Yunyang's gloomy face, they remained silent. If you don't give me the antidote, I will kill you. Dai Yunyang's face was stormy and full of rage, his eyes like knives, glaring at Bailey Hongzhuang as if he wanted to kill her. This woman's level of shamelessness was completely beyond his expectations. Bailey Hongzhuang, now you are alone, the power of only one person is simply not our opponent. Ling Jia Xian's face had become very ugly at the moment, she also wanted to know what immortality Bailey Hongzhuang had created that it could even cause a decline in Dai Yunyang's strength. As Ling Jia Xian's voice faded, the bodies of Dai Yunyang's group of 4 burst out with a powerful yuan energy at the same time. Blame you for being so unlucky, who let you not be together with Di Bei Chen right now? This can only be called bad luck. Lu Jingken smiled with pride. Usually, Bailey Hong Zhuang acted too arrogantly, always looking down at them. Now he could finally teach her a lesson. Before, Dong Fangyu and the others had asked Bailey Hong Zhuang if she wanted to go out together with them, but she had thought of going to trouble Gutsang Yun and had rejected. Never anticipated that Dai Yun Yang would even appear here. However, smiling enchantingly, Bailey Hong Zhuang thought that taking this opportunity to solve Dai Yun Yang, this nuisance, was also a good thing. Her cold and calm eyes swept over Dai Yun Yang, and then over the others, looking at the yuan energy bursting from their bodies, getting a good grasp of their strengths. Dai Yun Yang and Pang Yun Xiang were at Mysterious Ian middle stage, while Ling Jia Xian and Lu Jingken were at Mysterious Ian initial stage. If Dai Yun Yang was at his original strength, then she would have had some trouble dealing with them, but a battle with such people didn't make her feel a sliver of fear. You can start now, do not waste my time. Bailey Hong Zhuang's expression was impatient, eyebrows slightly furrowed. She still had to go solve Gutsang Yun, after solving Dai Yun Yang and the others. She was worried that if the old man was not solved today, he would come to trouble her tomorrow. Looking at Bailey Hong Zhuang's careless attitude, Dai Yun Yang thought she was stupid. Even if Bailey Hong Zhuang was at Mysterious Ian middle stage, there were 4 of them. She had not even won yet. Why was she still so arrogant? Now! Dai Yun Yang's eyes swept with a touch of rage since Bailey Hong Zhuang was so rude. He will not be polite either. Ling Jia Xian and the others nodded, the 4 people immediately going towards Bailey Hong Zhuang, attacking her. Master, let us shoot now. Little Black's eyes were flashing with excitement, his body emitting an aggressive warlike aura. Bailey Hong Zhuang hesitated for a moment, then nodded. At the moment there was no one around. Even if Little Black and Little White came out, it would not be a problem. Well, solve them quickly. Bailey Hong Zhuang's eyes were cold. They were already her rivals. Compared to endless trouble, later on, might as well solve them right now. Yes. Little Black and Little White nodded excitedly. They were finally able to come out. The next moment, in front of Dai Yun Yang and the others' astonished eyes, 2 round fluff balls appeared. What is this stuff? Pang Yun Xiang was dumbfounded. In the entire life he had never seen or heard of such things. Chapter 401 I will fulfill you. Before Pang Yun Xiang could get the answer to his question, Little Black was already shooting towards his head. Boom! Pang Yun Xiang just saw a flash of white in front of him before his head was hit, and his entire body collapsed on the ground uncontrollably. I am not a stuff. Must be your family is stuff. Little Black stepped on Pang Yun Xiang's head. This annoying person even called him stuff. This little master's name is Little Black. Little Black is a good name, right? Why did Pang Yun Xiang feel that this style and feeling of sudden attack was really familiar? It was like the first time in the cultivation tower when Bailey Hong Zhuang had attacked him with a hidden weapon. Just like that time he had no time to respond to the attack. Lu Jingkan's mouth twitched. That little white fluff ball's name is Little Black. Could there be a more inappropriate name? From which angle did it look black? Just when Lu Jingkan was trying to control his smile, Little White rushed up to him. The same attack on the head, and just like the earlier man this one fell to the ground from the painful feeling in his head. LJK fell down like PYX, Lu Jingkan felt blood drip down his nose and his eyes fell on the black fluffy body that was constantly bouncing near his head. The attack had been so fast that even his nose was broken. Ah! Who are you? Lu Jingkan asked, holding his face because of the pain. Little Master will not tell you. Little White glanced at Lu Jingkan coldly, as if his appearance wasn't worth being noticed by him. Don't tell me you are called Little White, how did you know? Little White looked at Lu Jingkan with surprise. He clearly did not tell him his name. Ah. Lu Jingkan's mouth was twitching, his nosebleed getting heavier. Dai Yun Yang and Ling Jia Xian's faces were extremely ugly at the moment. They did not think that before they could deal with Bailey Hong Zhuang, there would be 2 little unfamiliar guys dealing with them. Dai Yunyang was 7 or 8 meters in front of Bailey Hongzhuang, and in an instant, he fiercely attacked her with a powerful force. He did not care for or like Pang Yunxiang and the other in general, only by rapidly attacking Bailey Hongzhuang would he achieve his goal. He believed that even if Bailey Hongzhuang was also in the middle stage of the mysterious Ian, Bailey Hongzhuang had just had a breakthrough, and his practice time was much longer than her. Either combat experience or attacking skills were far superior to Bailey Hongzhuang's, and she could not compare. If Bailey Hongzhuang knew Dai Yunyang's thoughts at the moment, she would certainly sneer at him. She was the head of a large family from 1,000 years ago, she did not know how many small and big fights she had participated in, he dared to look down on her combat experience. He was stupid. Bang! Bailey Hongzhuang did not hesitate to meet his fist with her own. As the fists collided, ripples of energy spread in the vicinity, Dai Yunyang took a step back, while Bailey Hongzhuang remained emotionless. Dai Yunyang's eyes were like a stormy sea, as he looked at Bailey Hongzhuang with a stunned expression, face full of shock. How could this be? Even though his strength dropped 2 levels and he was now only a mysterious Ian middle-stage cultivator, how could the power of Bailey Hongzhuang be stronger than him? Bailey Hongzhuang looked at him with ridicule, she had not intended to immerse Dai Yunyang into a period of shock. Immediately, overwhelming attacks mercilessly hit Dai Yunyang. Since you wanted to die, I will fulfill you. Bailey Hongzhuang's words were firm and decisive, leaving no room for discussion. Chapter 402 It is just big talk. Bang! Bang! Bailey Hongzhuang and Dai Yunyang collided together, their tyrannical and fierce attacks continuing, ripples of energy spreading out. Originally, Dai Yunyang was full of confidence, thinking Bailey Hongzhuang was easy to deal with, but as the fight continued, the horror in his heart became more and more deep, eyes completely full of a shocked expression. After the discovery that his own power could not be compared to Bailey Hongzhuang's, he was shaken. He had thought he could win with his combat experience. He never thought that Bailey Hongzhuang's combat experience would be so rich, not in the slightest like an ordinary cultivator at the mysterious Ian middle stage. On the contrary, she was like a battle-hardened general. Beads of sweat oozed from Dai Yunyang's forehead. He did not understand why he had been so unlucky to meet this person Bailey Hongzhuang. Clearly, everything had been going perfectly, but after meeting Bailey Hongzhuang everything was completely destroyed. Ling Jia Xian found that even Dai Yunyang turned out not to be a competitor of Bailey Hongzhuang, her face had a deeply distressed expression. How could Dai Yunyang not be an opponent of Bailey Hongzhuang? Ling Jia Xian looked at Lu Jingcan and Pang Yunxiang, and could not help but glance at the 2 fluff balls that had severely trampled on the former. She was dismayed by this turn-off events, and stomping went in the direction of Bailey Hongzhuang. Since long, Baishir had been waiting for Ling Jiazin to make a move. As she rushed up, his stature flew towards her in a flash of white. Ah! Lin Jia Xian screamed, she did not see the thing that came flying towards her, and her face contorted with pain. At the moment, Baishir was licking the blood on his paw, his usual cute and mo posture had disappeared, cold eyes looking at Ling Jia Xian. Dared to fight with its master. They had to deal with him before it. Ling Jia Xian also recognized that the little guy in front of her was the one that Bailey Hongzhuang always held in her hand, petting it. However, she did not think that the pet, which usually did not seem even the slightest bit offensive, was actually so fast. Her hand could not help but come up to her face, feeling a burst of hot red pain, her hand stained with blood. Turning her gaze slightly, she looked at Baishir who was squinting as he licked the blood on his paw, as an understanding of what happened dawned on her. I want to kill you, you little beast. Ling Jia Xian was extremely furious. She most valued her face, but this damn beast even dared to scratch her face. Ling Jia Xian holding her sword slashed towards Baishir, however, he did not care in the slightest. His stature was swift, and Ling Jia Xian could not even cut a strand of its hair. Baishir acted like he had found a toy, as he ran around, teasing Ling Jia Xian. Little Black and Little White glanced at Baisher and his way of attack. They had to admit that he really was the owner's pet. Ah. Even the way they seemed to attack was same. Ah. Boom. Bailey Hongzhuang kicked Dai Yunyang so that his stature went flying before falling heavily on the ground, clouds of dust rising. Dai Yunyang had not yet got up, when Bailey Hongzhuang fiercely kicked him, stepping on his chest. It seems that your strength is not enough. Her light tone revealed scorn and disdain. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes flashed with disappointment. Earlier, looking at the way Ling Jia Xian and the others were competing for the attention of Dai Yunyang, she thought Dai Yunyang must be incredible. She saw today, but it was just big talk. Chapter 403 Bailey Hongzhuang's means Dai Yunyang was already feeling down, but after hearing the words of Bailey Hongzhuang he felt like puking blood. It was not that his strength wasn't enough, but that the strength of Bailey Hongzhuang had completely exceeded the level of the general middle stage mysterious Ian cultivator. Even if she was a special enrollment, Bailey Hongzhuang was too strong. Ah. Dai Yunyang was extremely perplexed seeing this. Dai Yunyang fiercely bellowed, "You killed Ji-man, I will have revenge for her." Oh, Bailey Hongzhuang sneered, "You want revenge for Dai Ji-man? You're really nonsense." For Dai Ji-man and Dai Yunyang, she had always been filled with a deep disgust. She never took the initiative to provoke them or cause trouble. It had always been Dai Ji-man and Dai Yunyang who continuously came to trouble her. Although such a cat or a dog would not hurt her, it was really annoying. Bailey Hongzhuang, Tsanglan College students are not allowed to kill each other. If you dare to kill me, you cannot escape the punishment of the college. Dai Yunyang's eyes were shining with severe malice, like that of a fierce wolf, a flash of conspiracy hidden in them. He knew that he had lost today. Bailey Hongzhuang's strength was beyond his expectations. However, as long as he could escape this dilemma today, there would be more opportunities for revenge in the future. Ling Jia Xian, Lu Jingcan, and Pang Yunxiang were completely dumbfounded at the moment. They had come here to deal with Bailey Hongzhuang, but the end result was that they themselves had been suppressed. Thinking of this, their faces turned pale and clammy. This is simply shaming for their homes. Pang Yunxiang was distressed to the extreme. Obviously in the special enrollment dormitory only Bailey Hongzhuang as there. Did not know where these three little guys emerged from. This was not trapping people. The three of them wanted to help Dai Yunyang, but the strength of these three little guys is not weak. They were busy so simply could not help. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes condensed on Dai Yunyang, the latter's eyes full of hatred, a panoramic view. Such a person, if she let him go once, she would only be causing unknown trouble for herself at any time in the future. Letting such unknown trouble exist had never been her, Bailey Hongzhuang's means. It was just that there was a bit of risk in college. If seen by others, it would inevitably provoke more trouble. After all, people of the college were coming and going all the time, so they may be seen. Seeing Bailey Hongzhuang's brows pinched with a troublesome expression, Dai Yunyang smiled proudly. Bailey Hongzhuang, I advise you to obediently let us go, or you will be in trouble. Hearing the words, Bailey Hongzhuang's exquisite face revealed an enchanting and charming smile. She stepped harder on Dai Yunyang, using more strength. You and your sister are really the same, annoying. Feeling the severe pain from his chest, the bitter hatred in Dai Yunyang's eyes thickened. Don't get so proud, so soon. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes narrowed, like a Cheshire cat she revealed a lazy smile, charming and shrewd. Even if I cannot kill you in Tsanglan College today, but I still want to fulfill you, so I will use another method. The next moment, Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curved up in an even deeper arc, the smile more perfect and charming. She slowly bent down, and near the ears of Dai Yunyang, said, You say, if I destroy your pubic region, what will you do? Chapter 404 Wasted. Dai Yunyang's proud expression crumbled after hearing the words of Bailey Hongzhuang. His body became stiff, eyes staring at Bailey Hongzhuang, revealing his astonishment and panic. No, you cannot do that. Once Bailey Hongzhuang destroyed his pubic region, Dantian, all that he had ever hoped of would be shattered. After that, he would be nothing more than an ordinary man, not even able to cultivate. Thinking of all the opponents that he had offended before, he knew that if he became a useless waste, those people would certainly be unable to wait to teach him a lesson. Why can't I do that? Bailey Hongzhuang's cherry lips curved. I hate it when others threaten me. Now, victory and defeat were both completely in her hands. Dai Yunyang still dared to threaten her. He really walked the thin line between life and death. Dai Yunyang was terrified, and his eyes contained the slightest touch of redness. If his cultivation was destroyed, it was worse than killing him. Bailey Hongzhuang, I beg you. I will never cause you any trouble as long as you let me go this time. However, Bailey Hongzhuang's beautiful, cold eyes were filled with indifference. Being kind to the enemy was being cruel to oneself. This one code, she remembered most clearly. If it had not been for eliminating all the troubles in her past life, she would have been unable to lead the entire Bailey family. Unfortunately, it is too late. The sharp words Bailey Hongzhuang spoke did not give Dai Yunyang any opportunity for a counterattack, and then, Bailey Hongzhuang's flat palm severely hit Dai Yunyang's dantian. Boom! A loud noise came, and like a deflated balloon, Dai Yunyang collapsed, his entire atmosphere suddenly dissipating. At the moment, Dai Yunyang's face became of deep despair from his earlier terror. Finished. Everything was over. Dai Yunyang's entire being was gloomy, enveloped in a layer of despair. It had only been a short while since he returned to the college, but from someone proud of his cultivation, he had been turned into a waste. He felt the energy of his body dissipating, he had been reduced to a waste, everything instantly obliterated. Bailey Hongzhuang, you! Ling Jia Xian shouted loudly, this Bailey Hongzhuang even dared to destroy Dai Yunyang's dantian. Bailey Hongzhuang slowly looked at Ling Jia Xian, sharp eyes like that of an eagle staring at its prey, filled with arrogance. Just this look, Ling Jia Xian's voice collapsed. Those eyes, ah! Beautiful, sharp and filled with murderous intent, as if as long as she said a word, her fate would be as miserable as Dai Yunyang's. Lu Jingcan and Pang Yunxiang were holding their breaths, not daring to breathe out. What a joke! Among them, the strongest was Dai Yunyang. Now, even Dai Yunyang was turned a waste by Bailey Hongzhuang. If they dared to mess with her, wouldn't that be signing their own death warrant? After seeing the performance of Ling Jia Xian and others, Bailey Hongzhuang looked away. Blame your sister for provoking me. Bailey Hongzhuang said this and turned to walk outside the college, Little Black, Little White, and Baisher quickly following her. Dai Yunyang, who had lost his ability to cultivate, was no longer a threat to her. As for the other three, she believed that they had been scared enough by her, they wouldn't dare to cause her troubles. After Bailey Hongzhuang left, Ling Jia Xian and the other two immediately rushed towards Dai Yunyang. At the moment, Dai Yunyang no longer had his former high-spirited, arrogant aura, and exuded depression. His eyes were numb and sluggish, still unable to believe that he had been turned into a waste. Pang Yunxiang's heart was also feeling regretful at the moment. If he had known that Bailey Hongzhuang was so powerful, he would have never gone and caused her any trouble. Dai Yunyang collapsed, he had offended a strong opponent and now he was a waste, the days ahead would be harsher. You first take Dai Yunyang so he can rest, I still have some things to do first. Pang Yunxiang said this and immediately afterward fled, continuing to be with Dai Yunyang had no meaning. He believed that when the news of Dai Yunyang becoming a waste spread, many practitioners would surely come to trouble Dai Yunyang. After all, the arrogance Dai Yunyang had was remarkable and the number of opponents he had offended numbered many. If he continued to stay here and later was misunderstood of having to do something with Dai Yunyang, wouldn't he be causing trouble for himself? Seeing Pang Yunxiang leaving, Lu Jingcan and Ling Jia Xian's faces turned ugly. They themselves were panicking and wanted to flee. Pang Yunxiang's behavior was not so surprising. Lai Jing-can's eyes narrowed. From now on, he would have to work hard to get rid of all relations with Dai Yunyang. Only because he still remembered Dai Ji-man, he would first carry Dai Yunyang back to his quarters. Ling Jia Xian's mind was also in a disarray. She liked Dai Yunyang and was attracted to him, but now that he was a waste. Little Black and Little White changed to their original form, quietly continued to pretend to be a flower, and Baisher too lazily nested in the arms of Bailey Hongzhuang. Master, why did you let Ling Jia Xian go? Little Black asked aloud. For an annoying flea like Ling Jia Xian, it was too cheap to clean her up. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly. Baisher's paws to her face must have been a big punishment for Ling Jia Xian. But I still feel that it was not enough. Little Black's lips curled in disdain. There is a blood hatred between me and Dai Yunyang, but the contradiction between me and Ling Jia Xian and me is based entirely on Dai Yunyang. Now that Dai Yunyang has been turned to a waste, with Ling Jia Xian's attitude, it is absolutely impossible for her to continue being with Dai Yunyang, and so the contradiction between me and her no longer exists. To deal with this problem, dealing with the root of it was enough. After all, she was not a killer. If the conflict became out of hand, and could not be resolved, she would use it as a last resort. I agree with the owner's principles in doing things, Baisher said. Bailey Hongzhuang touched Baisher's supple, soft hair with one hand. This little guy's hair had grown very supple and shiny and felt really good. Baisher closed his eyes in comfort, rubbing against her arms, slightly excited at receiving her care. Although she had just fought with Dai Yunyang, Bailey Hongzhuang did not feel tired. Bottomless, black eyes diffused with a chilling cold light, Bailey Hongzhuang would now go to Gutsang Yun's residence. Gutsang Yun was as nasty as Dai Yunyang, and she hated him just as much. Chapter 406 Gutsang Yun's thoughts at the moment. Gutsang Yun was pacing back and forth in his house. He would have to pay a heavy price tomorrow to Bailey Hongzhuang and also lose his reputation. With that thought in his mind, he grew more frustrated as time went by. He even started detesting Huan Chuyu. In his opinion, Huan Chuyu must have favored Bailey Hongzhuang, and now he had to pay such a price. He might as well have got on his knees to apologize. What would be the difference? On the contrary, his loss was actually even bigger. Damn that Bailey Hongzhuang, she dared to offend this old man will not let her go. Gutsang Yun slapped the table in anger, his pair of emotion-filled and murky eyes filled with bitter hatred. This loss was really difficult to swallow. Gutsang Yun had lived for so many years, it was the first time he had suffered such a big loss. He had spent a lot of money to get the channel opening pill, wanting to study it and increase his own income. He had not expected that eating that pill would even reduce his cultivation by 2 levels. Today, he had wanted to deal with Bailey Hongzhuang, sure she would lose, but no, there was no chance of him getting back his loss, even his reputation was damaged, and he had to pay Bailey Hongzhuang so much remuneration. This was simply outrageous. Suddenly, Gutsang Yun's eyes became darker, the resentment in them becoming richer. His mouth slowly arched in a ghastly smile. Bailey Hongzhuang, wanting to take advantage of me is not that simple. He had come up with a great strategy. As long as he killed Bailey Hongzhuang, then the loss he suffered would naturally come back to his own pocket. An old man, you're dumb. I really don't want to translate your shit thoughts, since the effectiveness of the channel opening pill had been proved by Bailey Hongzhuang. It showed that the pill Bailey Hongzhuang had made was real. How difficult would it be for him to duplicate it? He only needed to kill Bailey Hongzhuang, take her heaven and earth bag, then naturally everything he lost would be accounted for. Moreover, Bailey Hongzhuang had even created the channel opening pill. The number of good resources with her would not be less. As long as he got her heaven and earth bag, then it would be like finding a treasure. Thinking of this, Gutsang Yun's gloomy mood became cheerful in an instant. Bailey Hongzhuang, I will let you be proud for today, but tomorrow you will disappear from this world entirely. Gu Sang-yun's mouth evoked a chilling smile. He wanted Bailey Hongzhuang to know that old ginger was always spicier and that offending him was a great price. Who do you want to completely disappear from this world? Suddenly, another voice rang out behind Gu Sang-yun. Gu Sang-yun turned pale as a ghost, immediately turning around and looking for who it was. The door that had previously been closed was now open, and a man leisurely leaned on the frame. Moonlight fell on his body, illuminating that beautiful face, making it even more charming, chic and coy. However, the arrival of this person made Gu Sang-yun's body tighten with tension, his eyes focused on the man before him, fear revealed in his eyes. You are Bewitching. He had a deep impression of the man in front of him. Because this man's countenance was so superior, it was really difficult for people to forget it. Moreover, today the man had been standing beside Bailey Hongzhuang, and every time he had spoken had only pushed him deeper into a corner. How could he have forgotten him? Bewitching grinned with malice, that evil smile causing a cold shudder to run down Gu Sang-yun's spine. Chapter 407 Bewitching's hand. I just asked who you wanted to disappear from this world. Bewitching repeated his question, his tone more frosty. Gu Sang-yun's face turned ugly. As a refining pharmacist, the protection power around his house was not weak. He really did not understand how a student could just barge in. How did you come in? Bewitching's pink lips rose slightly, his brows revealing his disdain and ridicule. He did not mean to waste time here, just came in through the door. Looking at the indifferent Bewitching, Gu Sang-yun's mind was panicking. Bewitching could so easily swagger in, this had proved his strength. You, leave right now. Gu Sang-yun yelled loudly. Bewitching walked over from the door, slowly approaching Gu Sang-yun, again smiling evilly. Who do you think you are ordering? Gu Sang-yun naturally heard the ridiculing tone in Bewitching's voice. This person did not look a bit like an ordinary student of the Tsanglan College. The oppressive atmosphere his body exuded seemed like he had been born with it. He obviously had a ridiculing expression, but the heavy pressure spoke otherwise. Even if it was him, in front of Bewitching he still felt fear of the impending pressure. If you do not leave, I will inform Huan Chu you, and you will be punished heavily. Gu Sang-yun stepped back slightly since he had devoted himself to alchemy. His level of cultivation was not high, not to mention that his strength had also declined by 2 levels. He would have even more problem in dealing with an opponent like Bewitching. Bewitching's smile only grew wider. Old man, it seems you still haven't figured out the situation. What do you mean? Gu Sang-yun could not help but ask. Just as you said, I do not intend to let you see tomorrow's dawn. Gu Sang-yun's expression changed and twisted, looking at Bewitching. He could not believe that Bewitching's courage was even this great. Do you know the consequences of killing me? Gu Sang-yun's voice became louder. When it is known, it would be absolutely impossible for you to continue staying at Tsanglan College. Are you really willing to ruin the future of Bailey Hongzhuang? Bewitching chuckled. Old man Gu, you're really thick. When I kill you, I will make sure that no one at Tsanglan College knows. While speaking, Bewitching came closer to Gu Sang-yun. I came so late at night, especially to let you know the price of moving against my lady. As the voice of Bewitching faded, the shock in Gu Sang-yun's eyes only grew thicker. He stared at Bewitching, struggling to digest the meaning of his words. Bailey Hongzhuang was Bewitching's wife. Old man Gu, the night is deep. I think I should send you early to rest in peace. Bewitching's eyes were cold. He held a deep disdain for this old man. He dared to ruin Bailey Hongzhuang today. How could he let him go? Seeing Bewitching walk towards him, Gu Sang-yun couldn't help but shout loudly, "Save!" Because of the protective measures around the house, no one knew that Gu Sang-yu had been killed. And Bewitching left like nothing had happened. Chapter 408 I have an understanding with the lady. Bailey Hongzhuang walked towards Gu Sang-yun's residence. Since Gu Sang-yun had always been so arrogant, it had been pretty easy to inquire where he lived. For a person like Gu Sang-yun, she did not intend to be the slightest bit polite. This guy thought too highly of himself, he actually wanted to rely on his reputation as an alchemist to ruin her reputation. If a guy like this continued to live in this world, I'm afraid, there would be many other people ruined by him. Master, isn't the person ahead Bewitching? Suddenly, Little Black's surprised voice rang out. Bailey Hung Zhuang, upon hearing this, looked ahead and she saw a pale golden silhouette slowly coming to stand before her. That tall and straight body, free and leisurely pace and that perfectly handsome face, who could it be other than Bewitching? Have to admit, Little Black's eyesight was really sharp. Bailey Hung Zhuang stopped, standing in her place, looking at the figure in front, his exquisitely beautiful face etched with a smile. Bewitching's handsome face revealed an evilly charming smile upon seeing Bailey Hung Zhuang. Lady, the night is now deep, how are you here and not resting in the dormitory? That low charming voice revealed his joking tone, as Bewitching slowly asked. Bailey Hung Zhuang's brows lifted slightly, eyes black and clear, sparkling like stars. You ran out in the middle of the night, naturally I had to take a look. Bewitching's face brightened as he heard that, his beautiful eyes narrowing slightly, the arc of his smile getting bigger like a wily fox. It seems that my position in the eyes of my lady is very important, even came this late to find me, were you worried that husband would run away with someone else? Bewitching's hands touched Bailey Hung Zhuang's shoulders, his pair of eyes with the sea-like depth stared at Bailey Hung Zhuang, turning brighter and mellow, revealing his joy. Lady, you can rest assured that there is only one person, you, in husband's heart, it is impossible to have a relationship with another woman. Looking at Bewitching as he took the vow, Bailey Hung Zhuang could not help but blink. Even if there is a connection between you and another woman, I am not interested. She did not understand how this guy came to his previous conclusion. According to his statement, he was claiming her as his real wife? What? Bailey Hung Zhuang's heart beat loudly, as she thought of his words. Lady, you cannot speak so indifferently. Bewitching laughed, handsome face full of confidence, dazzling like the sun. Bailey Hung Zhuang glanced at Bewitching, she really admired this guy's cheekiness. Where did you come back from? Bailey Hung Zung spoke leisurely, her beautiful eyes shining with wisdom. In fact, as early as the moment she knew that Bewitching left the dormitory, her heart had a faint feeling. Seeing Bewitching at this moment, only gave more proof that she was right. Bewitching chuckled loudly, his right hand holding the waist of Bailey Hung Zhuang. The lady and I naturally have an understanding. One simple sentence directly gave Bailey Hung Zhuang her answer. Chapter 409. No, she did not admit this. Listening to Bewitching, the emotions in Bailey Hung Zhuang's eyes deepened even more. She had to admit, Bewitching and she did have a tacit understanding of sorts, it seemed that, the things she wanted to do had already been guessed by Bewitching. Lady, let's go back. Bewitching said, smiling. Bailey Hung Zhuang glanced at Bewitching and then her eyes fell on his arm around her waist. This guy, why did he hug her waist so naturally and skillfully? Noticing the direction of Bailey Hung Zhuang's eyes, Bewitching smiled brightly, Lady, the night is now deep, no one can see us now. That was not the key point here, alright? She doesn't mind that nobody will ever see, but, this guy's hand shouldn't be there at all. However, looking at Bewitching's happy smile, who seemed to think nothing was wrong, Bailey Hung Zhuang could only speak up helplessly, take your hand away. Lady, we are already a couple, why do still care about such things? Bewitching winked at her with a bewitching smile, a devilish look on his face. Bailey Hung Zhuang could only glare at Bewitching with a pair of cold eyes. This guy, he looked pleasant but he was really unruly. Bewitching seeing Bailey Hung Zhuang's serious look, reluctantly pulled back his hand, since the lady does not like, then, well, Bailey Hung Zhuang was satisfied that he had released her, this guy could be really shameless. As Bailey Hung Zhuang was lost in thinking, Bewitching's big and strong hand, pulled her tender, soft one, walking towards the front. Lady, we should go back. That warm touch startled Bailey Hong Zhuang. She stared at the tall stature walking in front of her, an indescribable sensation spreading in her heart. This feeling made Bailey Hong Zhuang forget her resistance, letting Di Bei Chen lead her back to the college. However, she did not see Di Bei Chen's smile that was as brilliant as sunshine. That kind of smile, that came from the heart, could not be hidden no matter how strongly one tried. It was as if every cell in his being was happy, and the emotion reflected in his eyes. Little Black and Little White looked at them, confused. Wasn't Master going to deal with Gu Sang-yun right now? Now, Di Bei Chen had said a few misty words and they were directly heading back to the college. Did that mean that Di Bei Chen had already solved the problem? Lady, take rest now. You experienced many twists and turns today, you must be tired. Di Bei Chen smiled gently, like a gentle stream it surrounded Bailey Hong Zhuang, and she could not help but indulge in this feeling. She looked at Di Bei Chen and nodded, you must also take rest. Saying this, Bailey Hong Zhuang did not turn to look at Di Bei Chen and opening the door, directly walked into her room. Closing the door, Bailey Hong Zhuang leaned against the door, her face flushing slightly. What had happened just now? She could not help but touch her face. Was she actually so immersed in the tender feelings Di Bei Chen evoked in her? No, she did not want to admit this. Outside the door, Di Bei Chen stared at the closed door, smile overflowing with happiness and amusement. His lady, who always had a low emotional quotient, but it seems. Had he finally reached her? Chapter 4:10 United Front of the Beasts inside the house. Bailey Hong Zhuang was lying on her bed, as her mind couldn't help but think of what had happened before. Why did she let Di Bei Chen hold her hand? Enough. She must have been too tired these past few days, so her mind did not wake up. As Bailey Hong Zhuang contemplated these things, Little Black and Little White, the two fur balls, were sitting on the windowsill, a sad and lonely atmosphere spreading around them. White, do you think my intelligence is too low? Little Black turned his head, looking at White, his pair of limpid and moist eyes full of doubts about himself at the moment. Little White shook his head. Why do you ask? Why did I not understand the words of Master and Di Bei Chen? Little Black's face was lonely. Can you tell me what they meant? Hearing this, Little White sighed, helplessly lowering his head, in that, I am not much better than you. Oh. Two little fur balls sighed together, can only look at the moon in the sky, helpless. They had never before felt that they had low intelligence. As the two fur balls lamented, Baisher, who had not been with them till now, reached the windowsill and sat down beside Little Black. Little Black glanced at Baisher, angrily retorting, Hey, why have you come here running? You want to laugh at us? Baisher shook his head, sighing slightly, Even I do not understand, alas. Oh, Little Black and Little White sighed. At the moment they all felt very low. For the first time, the two furballs felt closer to Baisher. Currently, the two white and one black wicked sat on the windowsill, heads low, uttering a long sigh. Oh. The next day, the news of Gu Sang-yun's inexplicable death spread through the Tsanglan College. Gu Sang-yun as an alchemist had always been well known in the Tsanglan College, but now he had mysteriously died, which naturally shocked everyone. The number of alchemists was few, not to mention that as alchemists their status was noble, very few people would actually dare to kill an alchemist. Now Gu Sang-yun had died, but also on the very same day that his reputation was damaged. This made everyone feel that there was something wrong with his death. In my opinion, it must be that Gu Sang-yun could not stand his own damaged reputation, and so committed suicide. Yes, think of him, usually he is admired by his disciples as an alchemist. But he wronged Bailey Hong Zhuang, who was innocent, and his true face was revealed. According to Gu Sang-yun's temper, he naturally could not stand this. Committing suicide is a normal thing. That may not be necessary. Maybe someone killed Gu Sang-yun and deliberately disguised his death as a suicide. Maybe Gu Sang-yun's killer was someone who despised him. The personality of that person, Gu Sang-yun, is not good. Every time you look for him to refine immortality he acts almighty and extremely arrogant. All of a sudden, everyone was talking about it, pitching in their own opinions. However, many people believed that the death of Gu Sang-yun was not because of suicide. After all, Gu Sang-yun had offended a lot of people with his temper. As this news reached Bailey Hongzhuang, Little Black and Little White finally understood what had happened. It turned out that the owner did not deal with him because Di Bei Chen had already dealt with Gu Sang-yun before them. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.